Hello and happy Veterans Day. It is Thursday, November 11th, 2021. I think we have a good show for you. Obviously, big shout out to the women and men who served in our military. You don't have to be pro-war to be pro-warrior. So incredibly thankful for all of you that signed a line that said, hey, if all hell breaks loose, fuck it, I'll go. The courage that takes is absolutely admirable. Your service is appreciated by all of us. Happy Veterans Day, and I hope you enjoy today's show. OBJ Watch came to a conclusion. Insiders stopped by from multiple sports. How you doing? Keep it moving. This is a sports show. If you enjoy this show, by the end of it, please be a friend and tell a friend. If not, just act like it never happened. Let's get to it. A lot of sports talk to be had today. Obviously, there's a lot going on around the NFL, including a game tonight in which Lamar Jackson, the most electrifying player in the game today, travels down to his hometown to take on the Dolphins. And we all assume, I'm not sure, I haven't gotten everybody's ideas yet, but we all assume that Lamar Jackson's going to be doing a lot of dancing tonight in the end zone. Long weekend potentially down there at home. A lot of people in the stands, a lot of people in the crowd. Dolphins probably could have signed him at some point or drafted him. They didn't. Let's go ahead and become a superstar yet again for the 20th or 30th time in your career on Thursday Night Football in your hometown with your people in the stands.
Hell yeah!
Now, with that type of thought and conviction in the decision of tonight's match would normally be good for this particular office.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. But today is the first Thursday Night Football Thursday of this particular season where we do not have a risk-free same-game parlay that we'll be pushing to thousands.
Hey, thousands
of people in an attempt to take millions
and millions
of dollars from FanDuel. This is the first one that I'm probably going to enjoy.
Yeah.
This is probably the first Thursday Night Football game of the season where I'll be able to sit back, relax, and watch an incredible ball game because although the Dolphins are involved and that team definitely
stinks.
The groan was from a man named Gumpy in the back who is a Dolphins fan who knows that the Dolphins
stink.
They don't deserve that because their fan base is a loyal and a passionate one, but it seems like the organization is always set up to stink because of the way they operate and do things down there. They might be cursed, who knows? Their fan base is very, very passionate, but it is a Dolphins game, so most of the time you would think to yourself, this game is going to
stink.
But you got to remember that Lamar Jackson is must-watch television. Lamar Jackson and that Baltimore Ravens squad in the AFC North that is very, very challenging and difficult are going to put on a show for all of us, and I can't wait to enjoy it. Tonight will be a good game, and there's a lot of records being either set or tied for how many games are being won in the final 2 minutes this season. There's a lot of ties through week 9 of teams that have either been down in the fourth quarter that have come back and win, or teams that have been down double digits and have come back to win, and it's because of the way the game is being played in an incredibly aggressive style, let alone Harbaugh, who loves Lamar, and then you got Jacoby Brissett coming in and playing a little football for the Dolphins. Let's have a Thursday night, and without the same game parlay, we'll be able to enjoy it, and I can't wait for it. This is the first Thursday where I won't have potential high blood pressure.
Sure.
It's the first Thursday of this particular season where I won't feel sick to my stomach when we inevitably lose by some bullshit yet again, and all of a sudden I have to take ricochet shots from every super informed bettor around the internet about my parlay not hitting, or parlay not hitting. The parlay that we agreed to terms against FanDuel has to be this many legs, has to be above this, can't go below this, has to be this, has to do all that. We had a set of circumstances and we did not win one time. And every time we lost, not only did I take shit, but also there was money out of the pockets of not only us who bet a lot of money on Gonzaga, but everybody else. So I am happy that tonight there is no chance of me feeling like the worst human on earth, and I'm going to enjoy this game tonight.
Yeah, very smart. And on the flip side of that, it's one of those things where if it does go how we think it might go, and the Ravens are, up 40-0 at the end of the third quarter, you can get a couple extra hours of sleep. You don't have to stay up for that whole fourth quarter hoping that, Michael Pittman has one more catch for 7 yards. You can just say, fuck it, I'm going to go to bed.
I'm going to go to bed. Lamar Jackson did his thing.
Yeah, exactly.
At Ty Schmidt, you're right. At Boston Connor, you're right. At Tone Diggs, you're right. Happy Veterans Day to all of the women and men out there that signed a line that said, hey, if all hell breaks loose, I'll fucking go. I appreciate you so much. You don't have to be pro-war to be pro-warrior. I hope everybody remembers that. You can accept that the fact is that the amount of courage and the amount of dignity, everything that is needed to just sign that line to go ahead and commit yourself to protect this beautiful land for whatever the reasoning is. You don't have to be for or against whatever the reason is. I'm not saying that. There's a lot of things I think at this point we can all say, why the hell did this happen? But the people that are doing that walk amongst us now, that have signed up and done that in the past, they deserve a hat tip. And happy Veterans Day. You're the fucking best.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, troops.
Thank you, veterans.
But I think troops is indicative of only one particular branch, or maybe two. It's not all of them. So, thank you, troops and
airmen,
and everything.
Yeah. Space Force.
Everybody.
We appreciate everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Everybody, thank you. Not everybody, just the people that signed the line.
Yes.
Right. The vets.
In the service.
vets.
Thank you, vets.
Thank you, vets.
We're idiots. I assume the vets appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think we have a pretty strong following amongst the military, those who in the past and the present. We take great honor in the fact that we get to be the dancing monkeys on the screen for you, a little mental vacation. We appreciate what you did, what you have done, and what you'll do in the future. Thank you, vets.
Thank you. Thank you, vets.
All right, back to the sports.
Hell yeah.
On this beautiful Veterans Day, we have breaking news.
Whoa.
Cam Newton has signed with the Panthers.
Wow.
Via Ian Rapoport, who will join us in 1 hour from now. Big time reunion. The Panthers are signing former franchise quarterback Cam Newton after meeting with Carolina Brass today. Thanks to the Sam Darnold injury, Cam is back with the Panthers. Okay, so Sam Darnold expected to be out 4 to 6 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
He has a fractured or
Incomplete shoulder fracture or something like that.
and it's the word that was used was wild, scapula.
Oh, there it is.
He is a fractured scapula, and that's obviously near the humerus.
Yep. Uh-huh.
And then there's other things that are near the scapula that you just
collarbone.
You hope never ever get in there. And there's a labrum that's dancing around with the scapula,
Hanging on.
and they were doing a little bit too much dirty dancing.
That's right.
Almost fractured the scapula in there.
Who put that tweet out?
Which one? The scapula one?
Yeah.
Crapshoot.
Rap
Of
sheet.
course. Tony.
So it's scapula, or just the common term, shoulder blade.
This fucking guy.
Rap sheet.
We'll ask him about it 1 hour from now.
Yeah.
Why
What
he
a
has to be
pompous
such.
ass.
That's what
Why?
I'm talking about.
A scapula is a shoulder blade?
It says the scapula or shoulder blade is a large triangular shaped bone that lies in the upper back.
I can't wait to drop that on SmackDown.
Oh, scapula.
Drop them on his scapula!
Both scapulas flat on the mat. Anyways, not a laughing situation.
No.
We hope your shoulder blades are okay.
T's and P's.
But I think this is potentially an opportunity for the Panthers to be like, hey, Sam, we appreciate you, but we're going to go ahead and move on. We don't know if PJ is going to be the answer, who is allegedly stepping in for him now and did step in for him in the past. But we're also going to bring back Cam Newton, who I'm trying to think back and rack my brain whenever this rumor potentially started last night or maybe this morning. Cam and Matt Rule were never around each other, right?
No.
Never.
It was just the owner that let Ron Rivera go, right, in the early in the season.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, just want to let you know, you're not going to be our guy for the future. You can go ahead and just enjoy the rest of the season and start looking at your potential jobs. I appreciate your service. Ron Rivera said he appreciated it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the ownership said they appreciated it. I don't know how it was with Tepper and Cam on the way out. Was it dicey in there?
I don't know, but I do remember Rule. I think, if I remember correctly, Rule having to answer questions like,
Yes.
is Cam going to be
At
your
training
quarterback?
camp, right? It was
Yeah.
happening at training camp. It was early.
When he signed, like as soon as he signed, like, hey, is Cam going to be your quarterback?
They
Yeah.
released him very late.
Well, whatever the case, they
Yeah.
seem to be over it. They
Yeah.
seem to be
Yeah.
over it. You would hope that there would probably be a conversation like, hey, the way that went, maybe this is how you didn't like it, maybe this is how we didn't like it. It's great to have you back in the building. We have no idea what long-term looks like, okay? We traded for Teddy Bridgewater last year. We paid him out of the Saints organization. We paid him a big-time deal. Brought Joe Brady in, the offense coordinator. Teddy Bridgewater didn't have Christian McCaffrey. See ya. Sorry. Can't do it. You can't win us the Super Bowl now or next year. Get the fuck out. See ya. And that's what you can do when you have the wealthiest owner in the NFL. He wants to make things happen right now. So, Cam, you come in and help us out. We'd be very grateful for it, but we have no idea what long-term is. You get, Cam Newton, Christian McCaffrey in the backfield now? They're gonna have to. Joe Brady's going to have to change up the offense, I assume. You got Robbie Anderson still there making plays, who told Sam Darnold, tighten the fuck up, dude.
Right.
He's about fed up with it as well. Cam going to Carolina is awesome. I hope he gets to play. I have no idea how it's going to go. I hope he's in great shape. I assume he is, because he is just a physical freak. He's out from the COVID situation.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
I think he got vaccinated.
He is now vaccinated.
And now he's on the Carolina Panthers. Follow up at Rap Sheet says, Cam Newton had a good meeting with owner David Tepper, GM Scott Fitter, because you can be fit, you can be fitter, or you can even be fitterer.
That's right.
And Vice President of Football Operations, Stephen Drummond, he had previously met with Coach Rule, an honest conversation that needed to happen. They cleared the air and we'll move forward. Okay, so literally just talked about it. You're welcome for the tweet, Rapoport.
Yep.
I'm happy that takes place. That's pretty big news.
Oh, yeah.
And he already has chemistry with DJ Moore, who's their number one. He was still the quarterback there when he came into the league, obviously.
Christian, he knows
McCaffrey,
Christian.
yeah. So, I mean, that could easily be a little run for the Panthers.
And
in
this
NFC.
is big time revenge run, right?
Yeah.
To prove the haters wrong, even within the Panthers organization.
That's right.
It is a new offense, though, right?
Yeah.
He's never run this offense.
Yeah, Joe Brady's going to have to change it, though. I think it's a much different offense if Cam Newton's there as opposed to Sam Darnold. But PJ can move, so I guess he's got.
Hey, Sam's been scooting this year.
Sam had a couple rushing tutters.
Sam also has been scooting right to that old. Oh, is that Adam Gase? Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Remember, he was the last game I saw. I think he was running backwards. And then he did one of these.
Yep.
And it was quadruple coverage. And it was a guaranteed interception.
Oh, yeah.
He threw a pick six last week, couple in the red zone. It was very electric.
I wonder why some guys, like Sam Darnold, makes these incredible plays. The protection of the ball, I think, by fans and maybe some media people, not all media people, okay, please, but some media people, the thought of the ability of somebody takes precedence over how they actually are in the game. Like Sam Darnold, all the people that came out and were like, he's going to be awesome out from underneath there. Then he had some plays where he looked awesome, and it was like, yeah, maybe Sam Darnold is going to be a guy. And all of a sudden, you start thinking, oh, this guy's ability is that he can be a guy. And then all of a sudden, he just gets back into the thing of like, oh, I don't give a fuck about this football.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Why does that happen, you think? What is it? Is that coaching? Is that football IQ? Is that instinct? What do you think it is? How come
Trying
there
to
is
do too much.
Yeah, is it like the pressure of people saying that?
Yeah, but isn't everybody trying to do everything they possibly can do?
Carson more than most.
Yeah, and then how come they don't take into account that doing the best they could possibly do is keeping the ball
Correct.
in possession of your team? I wonder why that is. I've never played quarterback. I mean, couple plays.
Hell yeah.
Couple
good plays.
Plays on a run, roll
Completions.
out. Biggest turkey bowl of all time.
Boom.
How you doing? Eric Swope, college basketball player at the U. Makes a great reception.
Can catch footballs.
Then in Jerry World, I'd go ahead and let that thing fucking die.
Rip it and rip it.
Yeah. But I felt like when I was rolling out, and me acting like I remember any of that play while it was happening is such a absolutely ignorant comment. But I think if you watch the film, I actually do look to see if there's like a defender around, because I could still punt it at this point. I could still punt the ball. And whenever I saw Swope was, I'm like, oh, here we go. We're going there. And that guy came pretty quickly, right? But in the NFL, I mean, if you got that much room, the guy's open.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Straight through a
And
window.
that's the type of quarterback I am.
Right.
That's the type of quarterback I am. But how come some guys just can't get past the fact that I am going to roll the dice so hard here, so hard, and I'm just going to put the entire franchise, organization, city, team into one roll of the dice. Some guys, I feel like, can get better at it maybe, but Sam Darnold resorting back to that, is that just who he is? He's a guy that's just going to turn the ball over and be reckless? And then you think about Carson Wentz. It's like, he's gotten paid $100 million on that by the way he has played. Will he ever say, like, I don't need to play like that? Why are some people in that position, why are they like so adamant about not turning the ball over? And then why are some people just like, oh, I'm going to make every single play I can make? And why is it the people that are adamant about not turning the ball over are always the successful ones? And then the ones that aren't, it's like there's just glimpses of greatness in it. Why isn't every quarterback doing that at that level?
I wonder if it has something to do with, like, you mentioned, like, the arm talent and how good of an arm he has, and he's still kind of young. So, like, guys who have great arms like that later in their career still know, like, hey, like, yeah, I could get it there, but this, I'm not going to complete this ball. And I feel like when you have a really good arm and you're running around constantly, some of these younger guys, they still think in their heads, there's no way they're going to throw a pick. I have a fucking cannon. I know I can put it on this guy. I've done it before. And it's just they never expect to throw an interception. I think, you mentioned it, after a while, either you learn from that or you're done and you don't play anymore because you can't get
Sam
over
Darnold's
it.
going to be done.
Yeah, exactly. He turns the ball over way too much.
Jameis getting another shot with the Saints is a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
The only reason why he got another shot with the Saints is because he led the NFL in touchdown passes or whatever. But him leading the NFL in interceptions, too, he got a $1 million contract offer. It's teams and franchises value the ball so much more than I think everybody else does. The Sam Darnold situation is the fact that he's completely reckless. And I think that's why the game manager thing being a knock on people is such bullshit. I think that is such bullshit because managing the game is literally what you have to do as a quarterback. And if you do the check down and the dink and dump or maybe just the throwaway because it's the right move for the game, aren't you managing the game in that fashion and aren't you keeping your team in it as opposed to putting yourself in a bad position? It's just Sam Darnold, that feels like that's his thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And could always be. And for Jameis, had a whole year as a backup. It's not as if he went to the Saints and immediately was playing. He had to learn the whole entire thing. But with Darnold, is it he's so programmed to, hey, I have to make all these plays he did he tried to do in New York.
He tried to. They didn't win. He tried to at USC, I guess, too. They didn't win.
I don't think they were great when he was at USC.
So is this just he has an incredible workout when he goes to a workout or in practice because he's making because he can sling it all the way around?
Yeah.
Is that why you think people just continue to be oh, this guy could be the guy, this guy could be the guy, this guy could be the guy? Even though everybody that knows football, D-Buck came out. And Darius Butler, by the way, he's the host of the Man to Man podcast. When I was on a team with him, his football IQ was just next level. And he talks about how that was his advantage. He was able to play corner, safety, nickel. I think he even played linebacker for 9 years, drafted by the Patriots in there. He has this incredibly high football IQ.
Yeah.
And I think that is why he had so much success. And that's why whenever he talks about football, I listen. Him doing the film breakdown of Sam Darnold and being this guy stinks.
Yeah.
And that was heavy words for me. When D-Butt said, hey, this guy stinks, knowing that there's going to be people that potentially come after him. But then he started talking about it. He was they would show the same defense to him in the third quarter as they showed him in the first quarter, and he was still making the same bad decision that he made in the first quarter. And a part of being the NFL quarterback is seeing something and being okay, next time they show this, I'm going to do this. Or anytime, that's why you see Aaron and Patrick, I guess he said he hasn't been able to do this, and maybe he's not able to do it anymore because they're doing different things. But that's why quarterbacks are trying to figure out what fucking coverage it is, because did we see this earlier in the game? Have I seen this earlier before? Which route now on this offensive set that we're running right now is going to be wide open? That's a part of being the quarterback, and also knowing potentially what's coming and acknowledging before the snap even this might be a tough play to get anything. It seems like they have us right now, and then that's a play that you potentially know all right, this might not work for us with where it's set up. I'm gonna throw this away or I'm gonna go down. These are all things that NFL quarterbacks have to do, and it feels and I didn't watch the film, D-Butt did, but this is something he said, and when he said it, it resonated with me. I'm well, if Darius Butler's saying he should have been able to predict what this defense was going to do and wasn't able to do it, that's a next level breakdown, as opposed to, he throws it into defenses. D-Butt was no, he's seeing similar defenses and making the same mistakes. That is not something you can do as an NFL quarterback.
And it probably, is part of it too. Same deal this year with McAfee. He goes out, so he needs to kind of do a little bit more on his own, and he had been playing well up to that point of the season, so he probably had more confidence thinking he could. But like you said, at this point, I think you just know who the guy is. Teams can't trust him because he turns it over way too much. He might have those splash plays and holy
awesome.
shit, hit this guy's arm's incredible. Awesome. Very few guys can make this throw. But when you're throwing 3-4 picks a game, no one's ever going to trust you, nor should they.
Yeah, it's also interesting. And what will Cam do? Will Cam be what he was in New England, or will Cam be what we have once seen him? Will it be a mixture of both? I saw Cam play down in Carolina, and he was the maestro to the band.
Yeah.
And the band was all of the Queen City of Charlotte. Mm-hmm. Monday Night Football, rain. I've talked about it numerous times. He literally would dive for a first down. They would play the Superman song. He would stand up, do his thing. The whole place would go crazy, go back in the huddle. Then there would almost be like a music sound ready to go. And he would just start running and the place would go crazy. And he's on the sideline basically like, here we go. When he was rolling down in Carolina, that was a different thing. It was awesome to watch. I think we won. I had a good punt. It's in a highlight down there. And I got a bad punt that they didn't put in highlights. It was windy and rainy. I think we won, but it was amazing watching Cam in Carolina. Hopefully he'll be able to do that again.
Yeah, and they're still in the hunt. Like they're 4-5. I think Atlanta's 4-5, and they're the 7 seed or 4-4 because they had a bye already. So that'd be awesome if Cam goes down a little redemption and takes Carolina to the playoffs.
Well,
that'd be unbelievable.
You got the Bucs down there still. I mean,
Oh yeah,
and the Falcons. What are the Falcons?
yeah. 500 with Artie Smith.
Artie Smith.
Artie Smith
Got the
is
boys
coming.
buzzing.
Get rid of Julio. Get our best weapon out of here.
Ridley's been out.
We're going to draft a tight end in the top 5 for the first time since like 1960-something. He gets going. Artie Smith got the boys buzzing.
Yeah.
And Young Wei Koo, the kicker, stone cold assassin.
Yeah.
That's right.
That dude doesn't even feel it, I don't think.
No.
He just
He's
hits
very
game
square
winners
to the goalpost.
when he lines up.
Yeah.
There's a couple guys there's a couple new lineups I've seen. Somebody has a Cristiano Ronaldo lineup.
Oh, love that.
They stand like square to the ball almost. I'm fascinated by all this thing because there's been numerous times whenever I was kicking that I've because you just tinker with something. It's like in golf, if you change like a little bit, it feels like a completely different swing. And you're trying to make your brain think too that you just fix something. So there's been a couple times where I've kind of messed with my stance or whatever. When I saw the dude lined up like fucking Cristiano to it, I was like, this is awesome. Why didn't I do that?
A weapon.
That would have been amazing to think about. There's guys that are real tight, like Prater is pretty tight, and he just goes straight down like he's hitting a goddamn kickoff, and then the ball goes inside out. And why'd that happen? He says, it just started happening.
He plays it I can't not see it now. He plays it every single time.
No, he says he doesn't play it.
Well, it happens
It
every
just
time.
ends up happening, which is crazy. Because I wonder, if he has a short one that is potentially on the left hash, because his ball literally is a left-handed curveball.
Yeah.
That thing just goes and then it ends up straight or whatever. But there might be a moment where he's too early. But then you got Tucker who goes a little bit wider, and he's coming in with a full. There's just so many different ways to attack it. So many different ways.
Well, and how hard is it to change your swing once you kind of already have it down, especially in kicking?
So for me, I always change my shit. I changed it. I don't want to say weekly, but almost I'd say quarterly through the season. I would change something. I would change something that I was doing. I'd either lower the drop because my leg was getting slower. It was almost the same adjustments every single year, but it was like a game for me to okay, how do I mentally make myself feel like I corrected the problem that was potentially happening right there? So it was always like a little tinker almost the entire time. There was even games, warm-ups and games. For whatever reason, what I would be doing on Wednesday, Thursday, when the ball just wasn't going on Sunday. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. We have to redo this entire thing here real quick. And then I go into the game with so much confidence because I just worked on something 25 minutes ago. And then you watch the film and it's like, I guess there's a little difference there. It's a constant battle of what makes you feel like you're doing it. Prater, I don't think he changes anything. From talking to Prater and with how much smelling salts he sniffs, I don't know how much.
Kicks as hard as he can every single time.
And I talked to Boswell. We went back to Pittsburgh and we ran into Boz at the Cactus.
Tequila Cowboy.
There it is. Yeah, Tequila
Steel Cactus, also a great bar.
Oh, steel cactus.
Pretty good time. It's down there near Jerome Bettis' grill. Down there near Jerome Bettis' grill. I ran into him there. And we had a great conversation, We're each a couple beers deep, we're getting that whole thing. And I asked him, I'm like, how do you hit the ball so fucking pure every time? Because that end-over-end rotation is just a pure shot. And when you're talking about a ball moving and somebody having to catch it and put it down in 1.3 seconds and the sweet spot only being that big, it's to just hit a pure ball every time is absurd. That's why Justin Tucker is so fucking good. That ball is just going straight as an arrow every time. I don't know how he does it. I asked Boswell, and Boswell said, fuck, man, I don't know. I just swing. I just swing as hard as I can. And I was like, I fucking love this guy. I love this guy that's his actual thought because I was not like that at all. I was like, I think I got to maybe plan a little deeper this time. Bos's like, fuck, I don't know. Just swing, dude. And Tucker's kind of the same way, I think.
Yeah.
So that's maybe where I went wrong in that.
Which knowing you seem like you'd be a fuck it, let's just swing guy.
No, ultimately, that is where I get to.
Yeah.
But I have to get to the point where I can just fuck it, let it swing. So like, okay, I'm gonna lower my drop, and then once I lower my drop, all right, then I can fucking go.
Yeah, hammer it.
But in a much smaller sense, going back to this turnover conversation where the quarterback just has to adjust his mindset in games, and we've heard Peyton talk about it on Monday Night Manning, which is back. I had to change my punting style completely. I used to be a bomber, so much fun. Fucking let me just bomb balls away. And then I became a guy that was just looking for fair catches, strictly fair catches. It's nowhere near as fun. It was a game changer for me. I became a much better punter at that time because we gave up next to no yards because our gunners, it was just me and the gunners basically going after it, trying to get a fair catch. Everybody inside just go and protect, which I think is what Coach Mo is trying to do with Boherquez right now up in Green Bay. Might get a little bit difficult as the NFC North gets a little bit chilly up there in Lambeau because you do have to have pretty favorable conditions to try to hit a 4.6 to 5.0 ball every single time so you can get a fair catch. But that takes a lot of the guessing out of it. But for the punter, it takes a lot of like, hey, I could drop this thing low, and if I got a little thing, I could hit this ball 70 yards right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that 70 yards could get shoved right back in my face because the people we have covering just got signed to the team on Friday. They don't have a clue how they're doing. They're being basically told, like, hey, you just block, let Pat and the gunners take care of the rest. And it's a much different situation than what the quarterbacks are going through. So I can see how that decision to be like, okay, so I'm no longer just a fucking home run derby guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I have to adjust a little bit. But I just seen that as being like a professional. Like, hey, this is what's going to make the team better, which in turn is probably going to make your life better. We don't have the capability to do what you and maybe some other guys are able to do with how we have our roster currently put together. Even though we had some dogs on special teams, I think I could have just hit some balls. But nonetheless, that is an interesting thing that has to happen in sports to evolve. Will Sam Darnold ever be able to do that? Like, will Sam Darnold ever be able to be like, all right, I'm just going to be a boring quarterback here, and I'll make the play when I have to. Will Carson Wentz continue to be able to do that? Because he has been for the last couple of weeks. He hasn't almost thrown 10 picks in a game for like 3 weeks or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and like you said about the being professional, like, don't you think, like, that's why almost I think that's just how these guys are, because there's no way that after one of these games, like Matt Rule and Joe Barry aren't telling Darnold, like, hey, you can't fucking throw this. You know, and you do that multiple times throughout a season, and if a guy still is going out and making the same mistakes over and over, like, there's a good chance that's just who he is.
Hey, congrats to the Panthers, by the way. We just spent 30 minutes. That's awesome.
Here we go. We're going to be in a real situation if Cam does well, too.
Well, I don't think you have to
comes
worry
back, he's
about
dead.
that.
You don't think Cam's going to do well? What do you mean?
He hasn't done well in 5 years.
Whoa! He had a broken foot, a car crash, a shoulder, COVID.
Listen,
break.
And Mac's great, but he lost out to a rookie quarterback in camp this year.
Well, different offense, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a
Don-
much
he
different.
won't
I love
lose
him.
to
He was a great
Darnold.
player for a long time, but hasn't been also for a long time.
And that's a valid point. And I'd assume that Cam hears that.
Uh-huh.
Cam knows that. I think he's even talked about it in an Iconic Saga production on YouTube, which is one of my favorite just production companies. They make good shit.
Oh, yeah.
Him and Cecil.
He makes great shit down there. I think he's even addressed it like, I can't go out like this. Like, a lot of people are talking about it. Because remember all the way back to even when Cam was in the JUCO.
Oh, yeah.
Rapping in front of the entire... Cam has always dominated.
Oh, yeah.
Got the juice.
So imagine the taste in his mouth about how the last couple of years have gone. And now I said this last year as well when he went to New England.
Yeah.
In 7 touchdowns or something.
Yeah. 8, excuse
Do you
me.
think
10 picks.
Do you
8
think he's
touchdowns.
anticipating going in there
13
being the
touchdowns.
starter?
No, I don't know. I don't know. Are they? Are you?
They're not signing him as a backup.
Yeah.
Cam,
He's got to be playing, but also
you know how loud that place would get? PJ Walker, awesome. We love PJ Walker.
Oh, yeah. Love him.
Met PJ Walker when he was a Colt.
Yeah. Best XFL quarterback of all time.
I agree. Now, Jordan Teamu.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stefanski.
well, Cardale Jones, too.
Yeah, I mean, there was...
We
but he,
talking
Heineke.
XFL 1 or 2? There's Tommy Maddox.
no, hey, listen,
about
Tommy
Heineke?
fucking Maddox. We ain't talking about
We ain't talking about
XFL
the
1.
gun.
Heineke's our guy.
Anyways, PJ is... We are fans of PJ.
Yes.
But if PJ does anything first quarter, second quarter, that isn't good, and you have Cam Newton standing on the sidelines in Carolina, in the same stadium that I got to witness the Cam Newton thing, That's going to get loud.
Yeah.
Rule knows that. That's why you had to have the hard conversation. Like, I think they're planning for Cam Newton when he learns the offense, Joe Brady's offense, to be the guy. I don't think it's going to be this weekend. I don't think he'll probably be in a hoodie, maybe. I think this weekend.
So probably like 2 weeks to learn the offense, week and a half.
I don't know. He said how long it take him to learn the New England one, which everybody says is like calculus in this entire thing.
Yeah, he came in like a month before the season and he started week 1. But I mean,
So this will probably assume with Joe Brady and Carolina in the circumstance they're in, this will be a much quicker turnaround.
Well,
but if they got him in pads this weekend,
yeah, they're going to be cheering for
after
him.
this week. They have the Cardinals this weekend, and then it gets significantly easier. They have the football team, the Dolphins, the Falcons the next 3
yeah,
weeks.
so you have him start next week, obviously. Now, granted, it is
And
Thursday.
against
We're
Ron.
acting as if Cam could start
Against
this.
Ron Rivera next weekend.
Revenge game.
Here
Need
we
it.
go.
Who's quarterback over here in Washington still?
Heineke.
Is it Heineke?
Oh, yeah. Fitz might be back soon, though.
Oh, no, he's riding them slots. He likes to go down a fast one.
Multiple times.
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
The Washington football team, and I don't want to move from one team that's probably not going to be in the playoffs to another, but the Washington football team, that whole story 10 years from now is going to be insane.
Comedy. If Fitz comes out and just tells his side of it. And,
Well, not just that. I mean, think about everything.
oh, yeah.
That just potential story that was on local sports talk radio.
Right.
Which who knows if any of that is. Anytime we get a caller that says their name is Joe, their name might be Mike.
That's right.
And they say they're in Cleveland, they might be in fucking San Antonio.
They got stories.
You
too.
literally know nothing because you're not really checking anything. But the Fitz water slide situation is one that will be investigated, I assume, at some point. But if he comes back, how's Heineke doing? Were they on a bye week? Is that why we know
They're
nothing
on a
about
bye,
it?
yeah.
They have not been doing great.
Yeah. I
2
believe
and
Fitz
6.
will be starting if he comes
They are the
back.
worst team ATS in the NFL.
Yeah.
Against
Chiefs got to be.
Chiefs are second worst.
Okay. I was about to say, I lost a lot of money on
The
that.
only, the only reason the football team is worse is because they played one less game. So
Put the standings back up there. So the AFC North, I think the Ravens danced through Miami tonight. I honestly believe that.
Him saying that you got to put on a show, too, when you go back to, like, South Florida where he's
And
from.
it's Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that maybe Monday Night Football has lost a little bit of its luster since the way back in the day when it was on ABC and it was an entire thing. But everybody knows that you're the only game in town. You're the only game anybody is watching. Lamar knows that. That Ravens team knows that. And he's back home. Oh,
Close.
And a lot of people potentially, have to battle against the humidity down there in Miami because remember, there's a lot of cold weather teams that travel down to Miami, and that's a real thing. A lot of people think that's potentially why the Patriots have struggled late in the season down in Miami because it is two vastly different environments and climates that you're breathing in and training in and everything like that. Lamar's South Florida boy.
Yeah.
That's right.
Used to it.
He literally grew up in
Loves
it.
it.
And he is there. And where's Hollywood Brown from? I'd assume similar.
I would assume as well.
Same
There.
area. And the AFC North is so close. They know that.
Yeah.
They'll win every game.
This is going to be I kind of wish almost we
Is it
Potential,
is it time?
potential thunderstorms tonight. So
on the ground even.
so he's gonna rush
my
50.
guy's going to have the studs on.
Take
no.
the jersey down from the rafters.
Well,
maybe.
and the thing about Jacoby is a precision passer.
That's right.
He's a great leader. He can scoot
Yeah, he's got some wiggle.
better than Phil Rivers.
Right.
Absolutely.
But he is not a scoot quarterback. If the weather's going to be terrible, you'd have to think that the run game would be the game, and that is what the Baltimore Ravens are. Plus, oh my God, why is this the week we don't have the risk-free same-game parlay?
Lev Bell's
You know
coming
why?
alive.
You know why? Because of how good I feel about the game tonight. There's no reason for me not to enjoy it.
Exactly.
That's right.
You'll be so mad.
That risk-free same-game parlay is the most stressful part of my life.
It's terrible.
I don't doubt it.
Especially with how close there's been 9? We've been 1 away from
It was
6.
It was the most stressful moments of my life. Like I need to get rid of that. As the season goes on here, we got a long season. We got 17 games,
Exactly.
potentially 18.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we
Soon.
were at the game last week. The Colts kicked ass. We had the best seats in the house, and we were defeated after
Fucking miserable walking out of
So
there.
sad.
Miserable. We literally.
Other fans are walking
I
up
felt
to
like
you. I just played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. I was on the Jets. I felt like I played and got my ass kicked.
Yeah, The people walking up to me, though.
Yeah.
Like the coach
they
just
look
won.
defeated as well. Yeah.
Coach just won, and I saw the faces of people that were at the game that rode, and they're like, we were so close, man. I'm like,
6
we just
more
fucking
yards.
won. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Like, that's how devastated I felt. You know, I always assumed that was the case. But once you actually get a chance
put a
to
face
see
to
it,
it.
See the
it's
people.
like, all right, I can't be a part of this anymore.
Yeah.
This guy should have been happy that he just saw the Colts win, and instead he's out here grieving alongside me.
Uh-huh.
And I should be happy, too. We just experienced the game in maybe the coolest fashion of all time.
Michael Cole.
Yeah, we just beat the shit out of Michael Cole's Jets.
Yeah.
Think about any other plus 1,000 bet if you put it out and it hit. You know what I mean? Like if you picked a game that was plus 1,000, like give me a break, dude. A 20-point underdog is what? Plus 400 money line?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
But it still was stressful.
Oh, yeah.
I
Very
still want to hit it every
Yeah,
single time.
no question.
Yeah.
And I bet you'll hit all your same game parlays tonight, too. It feels like that always happens.
Yeah.
I'll tweet them out after they hit.
Jets to beat the Bills this weekend is plus 460. So double that.
Oh, so you're saying that maybe the judgment that I
Yeah,
was
like be
You'd have to pick
be
a
realistic.
25-point dog.
Like
to
if
win
you
the
if
game.
you hit a plus 500.
Hey, this is the
bet,
Hammer Down
yeah.
Cowboys right now,
That's
by the
right.
way. Saddling the horse.
Yeah.
saying, Hey, you don't be scared to get back in that box is what you guys are saying.
Well, if there's anyone who knows how to defend a bet,
that loses.
yeah.
And maybe it was because you guys were at the game and you saw that defeat in those poor Saps' eyes, but nothing to me was worse than the Tom Brady kneel down. That was the real soul. I felt like anything after that was gravy.
That fucking kneeled down. And then on the last one, going back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
The no Jamar Chase touchdown. That was the only one against the Jags. That one stunk. That was also heartbreaking.
It had such a good run. But these Thursday night games have become games, even if the marquee isn't as beautiful as you would expect.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for it. All right, let's move along here. We just talked about the Carolina Panthers and the Washington football team.
Hell yeah.
And ipso facto, the Dolphins.
Yeah.
And great punting.
Great punting, changing punting. We learned why I probably wasn't that great of a kicker when it's all said and done. should have just had the, should have just been like, just kick it.
I just kick it as hard as I can.
Yeah, just kick it. I hope it goes.
Should.
Could you imagine jogging on the field, just being like, I have no idea why this is going to work or why it's not? That's kind of what it was like my freshman year, or rookie year punting. I'd hit a bomb, and I had no idea why. And then I hit a shank. No clue why.
Speaking of hitting bombs,
same.
can I
That's
ask a
kind of
question?
tough. That's kind of tough to figure out what happened there. I have no idea.
sure.
Hey, do what you did the last time when it went good. Okay, I'm gonna go do that.
Good idea.
And then it wasn't until like year 3, it was like, oh, I'm starting to figure this out now. And then everything kind of changes there. Go ahead, Diggs.
I wanted to ask you a question because it's been on the internet all week. Is the kid kicking for San Diego State as good as the internet?
He's unfucking believable. That dude bombs balls. I don't know what type of ball they're using. I think it's a Nike. I'm not 100% sure what type of ball it is. Whatever the case, to generate enough force to launch any pigskin, no matter what the ball is. Now, the Duke is a little heavier, right?
Yeah.
So the Duke is a little heavier than all these college balls. So that's why you do see a drop-off sometimes in either kickers or punters going from college to the NFL, because the Duke is a different. I actually like kicking the Duke more because if you have a strong leg, when you hit a heavier object, it'll travel further. But sometimes you can't indent the ball enough if your leg isn't strong enough, if that makes sense. It's like a fastball coming in faster. If you have good strength, that's the one you want. Everybody else in that. But yeah, Ariza for San Diego State. Yeah, I saw him hit a ball from his own 12 for a touchback the other night.
Damn.
And I think it was against Hawaii, I believe. And that, the cameraman or woman had no clue it was coming. Because I would like to see like the trajectory on that thing, where it's going. But if you can just hit 90-yard balls all the time, I think everybody would just take a touchback every single time. Not going to be as easy, I think, in the NFL. Might be a little bit different with a rush that could potentially come. But he's a Sunday guy for sure. He is a fucking weapon
Oh,
too.
he kicks field goals too.
I love him.
Yeah.
Athlete tackles people too. I fucking love this dude.
You ever see a guy pop a pigskin with his foot?
All right. So I like that guy.
Yeah. Good player.
By the way, I like that guy. All right. I like Jamie. Mm-hmm. What is he? The
Scottish Hammer.
Scottish
Psychopath.
Hammer. No, he's a Scottish Hammer.
Come on.
Have a little respect, dude.
Remember when he dropped that ball and thought he was going to take it 80 yards to the house?
That was awesome.
Give him a break. He stove both his thumbs on the catch.
Listen, when you drop a snap, it is a nightmare. Okay, you have full panic, and you have to think about it for the next probably 4 weeks every single time. I don't want to catch it, but there was a story, and it might be true. I have no idea. I have kicked a soccer ball 124 miles an hour. I have knocked soccer goals up on their end from hitting a crossbar with a soccer ball. I'm not saying I have the strongest leg in the history, but I will say I put in enough work for my leg to become one of the strongest legs in history. Sebastian Janikowski murders balls. There's been massive legs all around the world for a long, long time. And I have the utmost respect for bombers. But when the report came out that he popped 4 dukes by kicking it, it was hard for me to take it serious.
Yeah.
It was very difficult for me to take it serious. But then I saw him hit some balls, and I'm like, holy shit, this dude is a beast of a punter. Probably didn't need the story that was probably being mentioned because he went to a very small school, so he's probably just trying to get some, a little bit of shine or whatever. But maybe he did pop 4 or 5 dukes in one session. I've never seen it.
Not my Dukes.
No way.
I would love to see me at one of those camps if a guy just blew out 4 or 5 fucking balls. I would have lost my goddamn mind.
Yeah. Lifetime contract.
Dude, don't come to Indianapolis. If you get an odd, please go anywhere else. There was a couple, Marquette, him and Thomas and a couple other people got into a long punting contest.
Yeah.
And that was at the point in my career where I was hitting high. I wasn't going long. And it was very early in the contest where I was like, I can't keep up with these dudes anymore. I think Marquette hit one 95 yards maybe or something like that. There was obviously tailwind behind, but you're not going to do a home run derby into the wind. If you can
Right.
You know what I mean? You're not going to do that. And Thomas hit one that was just this low liner. They go there. It feels like that Ariza guy's hitting those every day of his life. And I'm just like, God, good for him, dude. And maybe Jamie did pop those balls, but I'm just saying I've seen a lot of people bomb balls and the Duke has survived. It's kind of built for that out there.
You think that Ariza guy could do all 3 on Sundays
He's
or
not,
no?
He's not that accurate kicking, it seems like.
Yeah, I know somebody pretty similar that was maybe had a pretty big leg because Ariza tackles people too. It seems like he's a very good athlete. I could not punt anywhere near the level that he was in college, and I don't think I could do what he's doing at any point of my career, actually, with the way he is just turning balls and making them go so far. But it has always been said that it'd be very difficult to do all 3. And I was somebody who wanted to try to do all 3.
Yeah.
There's only been, I think, a few people that have had the ability. A guy for the Atlanta Falcons tried it years and years and years ago. And I think he went 2 for 10 on field goals or something. He was a very good punter. So I don't want to say he potentially ruined it for everybody, but I think he proved how hard it is to be elite at 3 very different. That kicking off is much different than kicking field goals, and punting is much different than both of those things. So to be able to specialize at an NFL level and handle the mental capacity and the amount of reps it would take to continue to work for a 17, might be 18 game season, plus the playoffs and preseason, a lot of people don't think it'd be possible for the leg to handle it. But this dude, I don't think anybody thought it was possible to hit 70-yard punts every single week. This guy's able to do it.
That's crazy. That really is crazy. But like you said, your career would have, if you would have, anyone who would actually do that and do all 3, you wouldn't be able to play very long, would you?
No, you are sacrificing.
Longevity.
Right.
You are sacrificing longevity, which is what everybody says, by the way.
Yeah.
But there's only a few kickers and punters that get the type of longevity that everybody's saying you're sacrificing.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played 8 years. And for some kickers, that's no time at all. And some punters, that's no time at all. But for a large majority, 8 is like a hell of
eternity.
That is a long run. But I'm nowhere near what some guys are. For instance, I started kicking off for Vinatieri. So I started doing the kickoffs for the Colts. So that took one, explosive rep off of his leg so he could go longer. But that wasn't until year 12 of his career or whatever.
Yeah.
I have no idea how he was able to kick off and kick field goals for that long and then also continue to do it. Because at some point, your body
Yeah, your knees.
is your body.
I wonder how that kid's leg feels now just doing it in college.
So college, it was dope, man. I had no, I did
Didn't matter. Penny pitchers.
bingo. I was,
College, man.
it was college.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess the leg would be sore or whatever. Some days it was all right, you're gonna have to fucking figure it out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wake up.
because we got to go kick 50 field goals. Then we got to go hit 15 kickoffs. And then we got to go hit 40 rollout punts. And all of them are full go every time.
And Rich Rod's yelling at you the entire time.
Yeah, and there's one time I tweaked something in my quad, and I didn't want to miss practice, but the trainers had me miss practice.
Yeah.
So they put me in a red jersey.
Oh.
Okay. So this is like the first time I missed anything. It was during training camp. It might have been either my junior or senior year. And Rich Rod goes, I don't know what's up with McAfee. Look like goddamn Christmas tree out there. He'll be back next week or something like that. I'm like, I didn't decide. Excuse me. I did not decide to miss. It was probably the right move, though. Mm-hmm. Should have hydrated more in college, too. That was something I probably should.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Water's important.
Yeah. Somebody tweeted me the other day. You and me chugged a pitcher against each other on a random Wednesday night at Penny Pitchers. And he said, I've been a fan ever since. And that reminded me, I do not focus on football like that.
Yeah.
And that is 100% a mistake. But I do appreciate that guy remembering that. Because he wasn't the first, he wasn't the last. There's a lot of people that went down. And the one night where it all potentially came back in, that was when the pitcher chug was retired.
Hell yeah.
Hell of
Good
a
run.
run. Hell of a run. Now that the world's opening back up, so many new thrills are on the horizon.
Okay.
And whether you've been in a relationship for years or just getting started, we're excited to get back out there and meet new people.
Hell yeah.
When the moment comes, let's not come too quick.
Oh, here we go.
That is not what they had in their copy.
Okay. They should.
That was, I think they're going in a different direction. So let's go back a sentence or two.
Okay.
When the moment comes, you want to be ready.
That's true. Yeah.
With Roman, you can get a free online evaluation and ongoing care for erectile dysfunction, all from the comfort and privacy of your home. Once you take care of that, though, you get the Roman swipes, and guess what?
Lasts a long time.
Banging
it.
Yeah, it's Pete Alonso at the at the home run derby.
That's right.
Dingers.
Downtown.
Bingo.
David Ruoff.
Population, you, dude.
Hell yeah.
Roman Ready equals confidence. The confidence that you know you can rise to the occasion in the moment. We're looking at the Summer of Love 2021 version, and Roman wants to make sure you can participate in your way. Whether that be as a single person or a couple who would still rather stay in with each other, a U.S. licensed healthcare professional will work with you to find the best treatment plan. If medication is appropriate, it ships to you for free with 2-day shipping.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's huge.
Free?
The shipping's free.
Wow.
I believe, not the
Medication.
Free
No.
2-day shipping.
Yeah.
Go to GetRoman.com/McAfee today, and if you're prescribed, you can get 50% off your first month of ED treatment.
Okay.
That's GetRoman.com/MCAFEE. And if you're prescribed, you can get 50% off your first month of erectile dysfunction treatment. Make sure you're ready to have confidence and control this summer. Roman Ready. In Ohio. All the way over there.
Uh-huh.
He's deep in the woods of Ohio, too.
Yeah.
I got a chance to go to this man's house because he had a cult event to raise money for a good charity.
Yep.
To get there, you have to drive all the way into the woods. You find Wexler's house.
Okay.
You turn left, you go deeper into the woods, and you'll find 10,000 acres with a house that's bigger than you've ever seen in your entire life. And living inside of that is a beautiful family whose dad is the all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, who's also a Super Bowl champion, a college football national champion, and somehow, some way, that man that lives in the biggest house ever created, the nicest house ever created on 45,000 acres, is also a Ryder Cup champion. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, that Ohio man himself, AJ Hawk.
I wish I did have some woods. You know that. You know I do not live out in the woods. It'd be nice to have some land like you do.
No, you're deep out there, though. I remember thinking to myself, there ain't going to be no phone service out here. It makes a lot of sense why his internet connection is piss poor.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's how it works. There's plenty of houses around me and plenty of internet that's run to everywhere around this area.
Oh, except for you though, huh? Is that always your complaint? How does everybody else have a chance?
I don't want to talk about. Hey, I'm trying not to jinx myself. I know I don't think it's a real thing, but I haven't had many issues in the last month or two.
Have you seen what we've been through, dude? Our entire
Oh,
system
my God.
crashed, the
Tuesday.
power outage. I mean, we've been through it a lot. Maybe they got off of your back and hopped over to here, and I don't necessarily love that, but it is great to have you, AJ Hawk. We thought the big news of today was going to be OBJ watch, but then it came out. He might take some time. This is his first time being a free agent. This is his first time getting recruited by players, coaches, front office, star fans is what I'm hearing. Star fans of teams are calling OBJ and saying, hey, you come on over to Kansas City Chiefs. Paul Rudd's like, I'll put you in a movie. Come on, Ant-Man. I'll put you in a movie. Jason Sudeikis, who's a Kansas City Chiefs fan, is like, hey, you want to be in Ted Lasso? We'll put you on a team next year. Put you in there. Stone Street's like, hey, come on over. You and I, we can high five on NFL Network 10 a.m. on Sundays together.
Yeah.
Be sweet.
These are things that are happening. This is OBJ's first time getting to experience this. It is being reported by Josina Anderson that he wants to take his time and enjoy it. When we all assumed that he would want to get into a place so he could play this Sunday, allegedly, there's a lot more that goes into it. And I can respect and appreciate that. But I thought, just like a lot of people, that, okay, this thing would be tied up quickly. Revenge tour for Odell Beckham Jr. Let's make a team better right now. Let's learn as much as we can about the offense going forward. Let's get inundated with a team so we can go on a run. That doesn't seem to be the case, though, AJ. And I respect it, by the way. When the world wants you to do one thing and expects you to do one thing and you do the other, I got respect for it. I actually do.
I have respect for the fact that, it seems like he's taking his time because this is a giant decision on what his next path in the NFL is going to be. So, and a lot of it depends on who's throwing you the ball and the team around you if you are a receiver. So, but I would imagine Matt Damon and Affleck have been on the phones hard, right? Trying to bring him over to the Patriots.
Well, Matt Damon's no longer...
Kid Rock in Nashville to the Titans, I'm sure.
No, Kid Rock's a Lions fan. Kid Rock's a Lions fan.
Bill Burr called OBJ, so I think we have a much better chance now.
Could you imagine if Bill Burr actually gets... Imagine he starts...
That'd be awesome.
chuckling to Odell Beckham Jr. That would be amazing. And if that is happening, maybe... who's the famous Green Bay Packers
Fucking
fan?
Wheezy's already been in touch with him. So has Anthony Davis.
Green and yellow.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
AD, that's a good get, too.
Yeah, but you forgot about X Factor calling from the payphone outside the gas station.
True.
Well, X Factor, let's hope that his life is much better than it was.
He's a Raiders fan now, too.
Oh, he went over to the Raiders?
Oh, that turncoat son of a bitch.
Well, that's kind of what all the Chiefs fans are saying.
I'm shocked to hear that.
Yeah,
Flopping like a fish.
A lot of the Chiefs fans are saying X Factor is more a fan of X Factor than he was of the Chiefs, actually.
Wow.
That's what Chiefs fans are saying. Chiefs fans are saying he's only using the Chiefs to be a fan of X Factor.
Whoa.
So then whenever he turncoated to the Raiders, I think that was a big day for Chiefs fandom saying, we knew it all along. I'm not saying that's the case, and we will not have X Factor on the show to ask him, but that is what is happening.
I'll tell you that's the case. I think we could tell from his slow walk holding his ribs for the local news station that this is more about X Factor than it is the Chiefs.
Well, X Factor said, listen, I've turned it around the last 4 years. I haven't touched the cocaine.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
People saying I'm on meth. No. Colombian Bam Bam was my drug of choice 4 years ago. I've been clean out here. And his ribs were brutalized by Red Extreme. That one punch? There's going to be two thuds. Me hitting you and you hitting the floor. Oh. And in this particular case, X Factor didn't hit the floor. He hit the stairs, and those stairs hit back and fractured every rib he had.
That's right.
The X Factor that X Factor had in that particular day is, although he wasn't on the booze or the Bam Bam, he was potentially on something else that made him not even realize that was the case until later when he was told to put some scrubs on and go on into that hospital so we can file a real lawsuit.
I'm also hearing that there's some video out there of X Factor slugging Mickey's grenades in the bathroom and then coming down and spinning this whole sob story.
O'Doul's?
Yeah, no. Mickey's malt liquor, not O'Doul's, not
really
NA stuff. So, I mean, just something to...
I don't know what Mickey's is. What is
he told us he was sober, right?
Mickey's
So he's got to be sober.
Yeah.
What are Mickey's grenades? What
wouldn't lie.
What age should I have been drinking this?
17?
No.
I was
Mickey's
drinking
got malt liquor?
No.
I was drinking Red Bull and beer. Do you know what a Mickey's is?
Is it like you get it in 40s like malt liquor?
King Cobra.
No, they're grenades, dude. They're little grenades.
Nah, dude, I did Mad Dog.
I don't know.
Yep.
You could also get it in 40.
Good.
I've seen those. I feel like are they green?
Yes,
Oh,
they are.
yes, I have housed these. Yeah, okay, yeah,
They
yeah.
taste like dog piss.
Yeah, I've not been in a lot of gatherings that had these. Not expensive at all, right?
No.
Yeah. I've been in a couple gatherings that have had these, but these always seem to be the last ones left.
You can buy them right now, $5 for a 6-pack.
There you go.
That's a good deal.
That's a good
That's a
deal.
good deal. And we're not saying that's a bad deal or anything. You do what you got to do, or whatever the case
12-ounce
is.
bottles.
But he said he hadn't drank booze or coke in 4 years.
Yeah, he said that, and then the people are saying, "Are you sure?" Because I saw him fucking sitting in a stall drinking Mickey's grenades before he came out, smelling like booze. He also got in a car accident a couple days
His
after
guinea
that.
pigs.
Yeah, his
Rolled
guinea
off
pigs.
an overpass.
His guinea pigs did survive, but imagine the guinea pig will
will
survive.
I mean, I would imagine PETA's going to come take them, right?
No,
have to.
X Factor says he's a good
Like
dad.
Child Protective Services. they probably
Peter's
say,
fighting a bigger
"Can't take
war,
care of
AJ. Don't you worry.
Well, okay. Okay.
What did he say? I
He
didn't
said
hear all
He's
of it.
going to be tied up for a bit.
All
here.
right. Okay. There's a lot of conversations potentially happening around, man's best friend not being treated as such. But I think what X Factor was potentially doing is he was pouring those Mickeys into the cheese head that he had painted red.
Okay.
And then he was doing cheese bongs. Ooh. That's how they caught him. And that's why
Sitting in the stall by himself, though, hiding?
Yeah, and it smelled like booze because those things are just big sponges, basically.
Yeah,
right.
And the Mickeys were just going all the way through it. That's potentially what happened. But anyways, nonetheless, I don't know if X Factor is going to be the one that puts the Chiefs over the hump for the Odell Beckham Jr. sweepstakes, but Star fans are reaching out, and Odell Beckham Jr.'s enjoying it. I wonder if anybody's reaching out to OBS. You want to really win? Go to OBS.
That'd be smart. That's not a bad idea. Who are they going to have in Seattle reach out to him?
Well, Russ is already in DMs.
Of course, but the big stars.
Macklemore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was thinking
Macklemore.
Sean Kemp, maybe.
Hasselbeck.
Nirvana.
Chris
Hasselbeck.
Pratt.
That whole genre of music. Yeah, that whole
Grunge.
genre of music.
Okay.
Yep, the fish throwers.
Oh, they're great. They're on TV every single time there's a chance for TV to be on.
Imagine
It.
him.
Yeah.
Imagine Odell doing a deal, catching it one-handed, this giant fish.
Man, imagine him housing a walleye over his head. Oh, wham! Give me that fish, dude. Yeah, they're probably pitching all those things.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
Macklemore's like, get you on a feature.
Yeah.
Maybe make a song for him.
Yeah, I don't work with Ryan Lewis, who made all the incredible beats that I happen to be a part of. But maybe you be this whole thing. It'd be great. Yeah, they broke up. What's
No
that?
way.
Yeah, years
That's
ago.
a bummer.
What?
Yeah, it was years ago, I think.
Did they win the album together? The
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
they
yeah.
got? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Phew.
But I think he wanted to make beats for other people. I think.
All right.
It was an amicable split.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I think Macklemore kind of disappeared from the music scene for a while.
Yeah, he did.
Where is he now? Is he
He's
still
back with
Is he back?
vengeance
Yeah,
now.
he has this new song. It's a banger.
Yeah, and he's making videos for Odell Beckham Jr. to come to Seahawks.
New song?
He's a content creator for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Potentially.
They need it.
Who else? Who else is in the Seattle area though?
That first album,
Bangers.
It was good.
oh, it was so good.
Wait, isn't Bill Gates' house near Seattle?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's a
Probably a
Washington
pool
guy.
party for.
Xanadu. It's called like
Ooh.
Xanadu or whatever. His whole house
All right.
property.
Him and Paul Allen, they're buddies.
Coach JB just sent a text. I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah, I got that. To me and you.
Well, how's he doing?
Kenny G's from Seattle.
I was just told by Coach JB, straight out of the streets of Compton, alongside AJ Hawk. He called us two white motherfuckers. Mickey's Bogmouth are the shit, straight ghetto fabulous beer of choice my entire life.
Love you, Coach.
How does Pat not recognize the ghetto beer of choice, bro? Is what Coach JB just texted me. I've seen him at the bottom. I've seen him at the bottom of coolers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've seen them being left around, but it's hard. Hey,
You could use him to play Edward Forty Hands.
bro, if there's a fucking High Life or a Mad Dog or anything like that, I'm going straight for it,
Coors
JB.
Original.
The high life, nothing like
I bought a case with like what was that 3 years ago for a Mayweather or not Mayweather? Yeah, it was Mayweather and McGregor. And I drank about a quarter of one, and then the rest of them sat in our fridge for 8 months.
Oh, like Mike Tomlin did.
Well, they
Bill
do.
Cosby.
Don't they sponsor either the UFC or a lot of
They
boxing?
used
It's on the
to.
ring.
They used to. That's what.
Yeah.
That's what they got me.
Mickey's malt liquor. I mean, it was, every night it was awesome.
JB, I apologize for that. And you know what? Maybe let's move on from that, JB.
Yeah, slapdick whiskey.
Yeah,
Slapstick whiskey.
Yeah, that's all.
Huh.
You can't drink that every night either.
Well,
Well, you can.
Yeah, you can.
All right, I
the
mean,
new
res-
red label.
Just responsibly.
No,
Like
you
just a
can't
little
do
bit,
the
right?
red label.
No.
Just 2 fingers. Two fingers a night is healthy for you.
Joining us now is a man who I assume has never heard of a Mickey's and will probably not try slapdick whiskey ever, although he should.
Yeah.
Should.
Man who potentially has the inside track on all the situations happening in the NFL right now. The host of the weekly wrap-up with Rap Sheet and Friends. Ladies and gentlemen, from NFL.com and NFL Network, Ian Rapoport. Yeah! What's going on, dude? You like Mad Dogs or 40s, or what did you do?
I used to drink a lot of Old English back in the day.
Oh, you dog.
Old school.
Yep.
You now I don't know how old you are, but were you a Natty Light? Were you Natty Light era?
When Natty Light was in its heyday, when we could pick up like 30 racks, I would drink some. I've never been that particular about what I drink. I will drink kind of whatever.
See, that's the whitest thing said on this show today, JB. I think that is it. Tonight we're going to get fucked up. I mean, Natty, you are the depiction of that, and I respect it. Me too, by the way. Me too.
Yeah. I would also say that on some nights, a lot of nights, I will have a little bit of bourbon before bed, like a nice little nightcap. Just
How many
pour it in the
fingers?
glass.
Salty dog.
Usually 2, just, no ice, just pour it in the glass.
Tie it
couple
back to the
nice
NFL.
sips, head right to bed. Yep.
Whose fingers? Your fingers? Mangold's fingers? Urban's fingers? Whose 2 fingers?
A nice healthy pour for a healthy man.
That's exactly what you are. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know you were a drunk.
Oh, you.
But all the inside information you have with the stresses of always having to be on your phone, I could see how maybe a nice nightcap with some bourbon could help you out.
God, this man gets me.
I do not. But I can see how that situation could unfold. We are always thankful for you joining us. Obviously, we assumed the big news would be OBJ and how that's going. We will get to that. We will definitely get to that because there's been a lot of reports. Now it sounds like he's going to be taking his time. But let's talk about what's happening right now. You broke with the salary and everything. Cam Newton going back to Carolina. He's the starter, starting next week? I'd assume he's the starter starting next week. And then is this a potential long-term player, or they both know this is just for this year?
All right, we'll start with when he's going to play. So it's Thursday now. They practiced already. He'll be able, because he's unvaccinated, he's able to practice right, or because he's vaccinated, excuse me.
Yeah,
he's vaccinated, he'll almost mess that up.
Yeah.
He'll be able to practice right away. So he'll probably be able to play next week. They're giving him a lot of money. It's $10 million, not like $10 million prorated, like actual $10 million, $4.5 million guaranteed. That is starter money. He is going to be the starter, probably next week. And the fact that this is happening is unbelievable because it didn't end great. He was very unhappy, took to his social media accounts and was frustrated that the team said they requested, they gave him permission to seek a trade when he didn't want to seek a trade. He wanted to remain in Carolina. And everyone today, the owner, the GM, everyone got together today and kind of mended fences, put the past behind them, and are moving forward with the franchise guy that they discarded. I don't know what it's going to become, but he's going to be the starter for the rest of the season, I would say.
And you said there was an uncomfortable conversation. We thought that literally as we heard the news, because we're trying to think back. Ron Rivera in Tepper had a good exit. That was a good exit. It was early. Yeah. It was allegedly understood. Like, hey, Ron Rivera appreciated them being up front with him. And I think Tepper said, hey, we're moving on. You're not going to be the future. You can get out now. Yeah. And but then we remember the Cam situation with training camp happening and answering questions, cutting them late, and then the 86 days. So who do you think knew that was going to have to take place? Do you think it was Tepper directly that was like, we are going to have to handle this, face to face? Or was that Cam saying, if you guys want me, and they reach out to him? Like, who do you think offered up first, do you think there?
Well, I would say from the Panthers organization, they knew it didn't end well with Cam. How could you not? And they have some, there's some, and this has sort of been pointed out on social media today. Stephen Drummond, who's an executive with the Carolina Panthers, was the basically head PR/communications guy, had a very close relationship with Cam. He certainly understood the dynamics and how frustrated Cam was and the necessariness of this conversation. Tepper knew it. This was never going to be like, you call the agent, hey, is Cam interested? Okay, we'll give him $10 million. Let's sign. This was always going to be let's get past everything we went through and then see if we can all get on the same page. Credit to them for doing it because I'm sure these conversations were not easy. And knowing Cam Newton, I'm sure he was extremely honest to them, so they probably had to listen to some of it. And they all came together, and now he's their quarterback. It really is, honestly, incredible.
Quickly? Is this quick, you think?
I would say next week he's probably...
No. This whole situation. Bring Cam in. Bring Cam in, have the conversation. He's now the starter. Here you go. Here's the money. How quickly do you think that entire thing took place? Is this a couple weeks in the making, couple days, couple hours?
No. Couple days because we found out... Right. Darnold's going IR. So we found out Tuesday that Darnold's injury was severe enough. Well, that was the interesting thing is like he has a crack in his shoulder. So though Darnold, we watched.
Hey, fuck off for that, by the way. We all had to Google what the hell that was. Way to go. We get it. You wear ties on TV.
I was texting Garofalo and Pelissero the injury when I heard it happen, and I typed spatula first, and then they were making jokes, and I didn't understand because words look very similar. I'm just glad I didn't tweet spatula when I tweeted it.
Yeah, okay, we are too. His shoulder would have been fine.
Shoulder would have been fine.
Yeah.
Yes. So I found out yesterday. I kind of heard whispers. Shouldn't say found out. I heard whispers yesterday of them setting up a Cam meeting. I just couldn't get it, and it was very quiet. So basically, yesterday morning they started the planning. Today they have the meeting. This afternoon they signed. I mean, that is really, really quick for like a fence-mending, dramatic turn in a relationship.
And that's why the $10 million probably. Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, are you surprised at how much they paid him for what is essentially half of a season? And did he have any other? Was there any offers? Like, what kind of leverage did Cam have from anyone else?
His leverage was not playing, and his leverage was that he was going to not be the quarterback for them. Like, the market is what the market is. So the market for Cam was like, you have to pay him enough to get him to join your organization because you need him as the quarterback. So that was his leverage. Like, finally, he waited, and he found a team that needed him more than he needed them, and they are paying him very, very real money.
Yeah, and $10 million is potentially because of the conversation that they had where he kind of fucked me. You guys kept me around for too long. You let Ron Rivera go early. You kept me around so long, kind of dragged me along, cut me when teams were already being made. You kind of screwed me out of things. Tapper, we realize that. We're sorry. We're trying to make changes. We're trying to do this whole thing we didn't know. Here's an extra $10 million, and can you please come back? And not only just come back, the entire city of Charlotte is excited about this. I was very lucky to play against Cam Newton in a game in Carolina on prime time when he was rolling. That place, he was the maestro of the entire city. If they have any success and get going again, it is going to be alive down there. And that's what Tepper wants, I think, as the new owner. They now have He's Back on the stadium Jumbotron that downtown.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's like they are... I mean, this city is ready for Cam to come back. I think everybody's happy they mended fences. Now, let's go to Odell Beckham Jr. Allegedly, there was 4 teams he was going in on, then 5, then a mystery team 6. Then Josina Anderson says this is his first time in free agency. He's enjoying the process. This is a massive decision. Coaches, players, front office, star fans are reaching out to him to recruit him. Where are we in the Odell Beckham Jr. watch, Ian, as of this moment right now on November 11th?
We are in a holding pattern. We are taking a little break because yesterday, so I kind of thought yesterday he would sign. There was interest. I think he has at least 5 offers. It's not all great offers. Some offers like the Packers are the minimum, but offers. I thought he would sign yesterday. When he doesn't sign yesterday, then it's like, okay, well, he's not playing this week anyway. Why would you sign before Sunday? Like, what if one of those teams, God forbid, you never wish an injury, but one of those teams has an injury and they say, we have to have Odell, so we are now going to pay him more than we wanted because we just have to have him. He should wait. Like, this actually if you're not going to sign Wednesday, then you might as well sign next Monday and give teams the opportunity to have something happen. I don't know where he goes. I know that the teams, as of right now, the teams basically made offers and that was it. It's not like one-upsmanship. It's not like we'll increase this offer, we'll give you this. It's basically just made offers. He considers. Now he's in a holding pattern, and we'll see what happens probably after the games.
Okay. I'm excited to see where it goes. Do you think he's leaning anywhere? And quarterback is the only thing that matters?
It's tough because I would, of course, say yes, except the Saints are still in the mix. And they have Trevor Siemian, and with all due respect to Trevor Siemian, he's not Patrick Mahomes. Although I actually thought he played well last week. But anyway, he is considering the Saints and they have Siemian.
Rodgers, what the fuck is this guy? What is your deal?
Mac Jones.
Not Mac Jones.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, Mac Jones is a guy.
Bill Belichick.
Is Bill Belichick actually in this? Is this actually happening? All these reports we're hearing that Bill Belichick wants Odell Beckham Jr. on his team?
Yes, that is true. Now, I wouldn't say.
No, Bill can
I
recruit.
Bill
wouldn't
ain't
say.
throwing him the fucking football.
That's not true.
Is he going to change the offense for the guy? Why would he not just go to Green Bay, have Aaron throw him the ball, get the ball, it all works out for
How much does money matter
Too
to him?
boring.
You said the Packers offered minimum. Like, what's the range that he's getting offered, do you think?
It's not a lot. I mean, it's basically from minimum to like, he can earn more like $4 million or maybe I don't know, maybe say $4, maybe $5 million, but it's not hard money. Like Cam Newton got $4.5 million fully guaranteed. He is getting that money no matter what. It's not like that for Odell.
He's getting $4.25 million right from the Browns, regardless.
Yeah, he's got that already. And now I remember he gave up $3 million just to be free. So I feel like more important for him is to get in an offense he likes, get in a team he likes, be successful, go to the playoffs maybe, which would be nice, but have a place where he can play the next 2 or 3 years. Like I think he wants a home more than like catch lightning in a bottle, make the playoffs. That's what it feels like.
Oh, that's a big news there, by the way. Thank you for that. Go ahead, AJ. I'm sorry, buddy.
No, I think Ian brings up a great point. Yeah, there's no reason for him to sign before Sunday. Like Sunday night, Monday morning, that's when they'll probably get something done, right? Because his price tag could go way up if one of these teams really needs him.
A multi-year deal, though. I didn't know that was the case. I don't think anybody.
No. It wouldn't be a multi-year deal. It would be a 1-year deal now. But then let's say he signs in New Orleans or something. I don't know. Let's say the Chiefs. They're a better example. Let's say he signs with the Chiefs because I think they're a real possibility. He signs a 1 year. He kills it for the rest of the, year.
He wants.
That's a place he would want to stay there, and then he would re-up for 2 or 3 more years after that.
Okay, I got it. Go ahead, son.
Ian, any chance Nick Chubb ends up playing for the Browns on Sunday?
I would say not a very good chance.
Okay.
Because now he could be cleared theoretically, like he could be cleared Saturday, he could be cleared Sunday. The timing potentially could work out. I don't know that there's a case. Like I've tried to look at it, but it's tough to figure out all the things. But I don't know that there's a case where a player is tested positive, let's say on Tuesday, and then played Sunday, because they don't work out. A lot of times you don't feel great after COVID. So like to play, like Chandler Jones. Remember, Chandler Jones missed a game for Arizona and then was eligible to come back the next game and didn't play because he hadn't worked out, and that would have just put him in a bad situation. I think that's probably more likely for Chubb. So I doubt that we see him on Sunday.
Rap sheet yesterday, the Packers activated Bakhtiari. What are the odds that he plays on Sunday? Have you heard anything about that? And then what about some of these other guys like Zadarius Smith and Jair Alexander, who they saw out of practice yesterday? Like when can we expect them maybe to come back?
All right, we'll start with Bakhtiari. He was activated yesterday, but that was more procedural because that's like when his window would have closed. So basically they activated him, then he still may not end up playing this week. I think there's a chance, but like next week, I think he will definitely play. This week, there's a little bit of a chance. You just want to make that's your guy. Like he's one of the best in football. He better be fully healthy and not at risk when he plays. Jair Alexander, I don't get the sense he's going to play soon, but it sounds like non-surgical option is probably more likely now. Like he's been getting better in rehab, so I think there's a chance you'll see him before the end of the season, which would be good. I mean, that would be helpful. And then, Zadarius Smith, he had surgery. My guess is you see him late December and then for the playoffs.
Rap sheet, Benny Albright said that there's a chance that there will be an 18-game season with also 36 teams. I believe it's Toronto, London, San Antonio, and what's the last? St. Louis. Thank you.
St. Louis.
What are the odds that that's happening here, huh?
And also, thank you for the alley. Allow me to oop. Didn't I say this to you immediately upon the 17-game season being okayed? I said, okay, when are we doing 18? And it doesn't seem like we are anywhere near
that is not
that potentially
definitely not
happening. This was obviously a dogfight to get 17.
Is that what I sound like?
No, I'm not an impressionist, but you get what I'm saying. That is basically what you said. And now here we are staring down an 18-game regular season because the inevitability of it upon the 17th game game, and then a $110 billion deal happening, and then the potential for, if you add another bye week in another game, 2 more weeks onto that, that's another potential $30 billion being added to deals. This is inevitable, isn't it? And Tom Brady's not happy. I'd assume a lot of players aren't going to be happy, but we are staring down this inevitability. And if they were to expand, would it be 4 teams? That seems like a lot. That seems like a big-time jump.
I haven't heard anything about expansion. Now, the thought of me possibly going to all sorts of extra weird places that I've never been to see games would be great. That's one of the fun things about covering college football is every year you got to go to new, cool stadiums. I don't see it happening anytime soon, and I don't, could they get to 18 games eventually? Possibly. There's so much money out there, and people like money, so that would make sense.
What?
I will stick, it's true. I will stick to what I said before, which is I don't see it happening anytime soon. I think the Players Association will fight it until the money gets so overwhelming that everyone has no choice but to say, all right, just give me all the money.
You're doubling down.
Yeah. Stick to what I said.
If it comes out that you're misleading me, I'm going to be fucking pissed, dude.
That's bullshit.
Especially because you're doubling down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's how serious I am.
Any other stories we should know about or any other news you're about to break in this particular Thursday?
I would say nothing I'm about to break. The Odell thing we talked about, the Arizona Cardinals situation is interesting because they're obviously a great team. No practice for Kyler, no practice for DeAndre Hopkins. Rondell Moore didn't practice. Like, that's a really, really good team going into a precarious situation.
How about Tampa? AB, Gronk, and then allegedly Godwin potentially? What's that all about? I thought coming out of a bye week they'd be healthier. It sounds like that's not the case.
I heard Godwin is okay, not a major injury, but I will say I did not like the Gronk injury has taken longer, and then the AB injury has taken longer. It sounds like Gronk's probably down at least this week, and it sounds like AB's. He's still in a boot, so he's down a little bit too. This is a team. Let's just be real. Like, the only thing that matters for the Bucs is the playoffs. Like, they're going to get there. Should just get healthy by there. But this is not unexpectedly not great health situation for some of their skill guys.
Okay, and last question here. Kyle Long, All-Pro and Pro Bowl offensive guard in the NFL's history, was retired, then came out of retirement, traveled to the Raiders, which his family has a deep history with. He gets out of that building, thankfully, in his eyes probably at this point with how everything has gone, and he ends up in the Kansas City Chiefs building. He gets signed. We're all excited as massive Kyle Long fans. He gets injured. Allegedly, he is back at practice today. After he got injured, we said to you, when is Kyle Long coming back? And you said, so I guess this means Kyle Long's going to make the team? You remember you said that? You remember?
I do.
He did make the team. He's Kyle fucking Long, Ian Rapoport. And now he's practicing again. What does that mean for the Chiefs, who potentially could use maybe a little bit of a shakeup or a spark in that offense to get going again? Is he the guy?
I love Kyle Long. I have always been a big Kyle Long fan. We shared a great bro hug when we ran into each other at a Super Bowl party one year. That was a memorable moment, a special moment that I will not forget.
It ain't ever happening again. I'll tell you that. I don't think it's ever happening again.
He still loves. No, it definitely will. When we see each other, I will guarantee there will be a bro hug. I will guarantee it.
After you
even
said,
in the age of COVID.
Well, hey, don't be irresponsible. Don't be irresponsible.
Yeah.
But I think Kyle Long knows that you said Kyle Long should go play in the XFL.
Yeah.
You know what you said? Yeah, I remember you said
Lies.
Huh?
Lies.
Is he going to play, though? Is he back? Is he going to start for them, you think? What do you think it's going to be timetable-wise?
Usually, and I don't know specifically his situation, but usually guys return to practice, wait a week, and then end up playing the next week. So hopefully he'll end up playing next week. You're right, though. I mean, the offensive line's been okay. Certainly they could use one of the greatest guards to ever play in the NFL.
Look at you.
Well said.
I would say that's would be a big time upgrade for the Chiefs if he gets healthy.
And Clyde Edwards-Helaire as well?
He could play. We got to see how he is in practice this week. I would say he has at least a chance to play this week.
All right, we appreciate you. I know you're probably a pretty busy man because tonight's big matchup, Lamar Jackson travels back home to South Florida to take on the beaten down Dolphins team.
Maybe Jacoby Brissett, maybe Tua. We'll see.
Is it? I thought it was definitely Jacoby. It's not definitely?
I would say maybe, but Tua's going to work out pregame and see functionally just like how well he could. I would say more likely Jacoby, but we'll see how Tua works out.
Quick question. Tua was too injured to start last week, but he wasn't injured enough to not have to go in if all hell breaks loose. What does that even mean?
He couldn't make all the throws. He could make some throws with pain. So, and they also didn't have another quarterback on the roster. So he could have been the backup and dinked and dunked, but like wasn't the best option as a starter because he couldn't make all the throws.
So they don't think Tua at 60% or 70% is better than Jacoby Brissett, which is yet another indication that they're not in on Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
That's a shame, Dolphins. Get it right, but not tonight. Lamar Jackson's about to run wild in South Florida. We can't thank you enough, Ian. You're the absolute best every single week.
All right, thanks, guys. Always kind of, I guess, fun. Yeah, always fun.
Jeez.
Don't be an asswipe.
Yeah.
My God.
Come on.
Hi, guys.
Go
What
get
are
a
you doing?
Mickey's, Ian. You deserve it.
Yeah, go get yourself a Mickey's before you get on TV. Are you going on TV right now?
I will be going on TV in 25 minutes.
Okay, so
All
what
I
do
got
you
to
do?
do is just straighten it up. Your sleeves back down.
Oh, yeah, because you roll up your sleeves when you come on the internet. Undo the tie a little bit. Let me kick back, relax with the boys here. Say some dumb stuff, but also some very good stuff. And then, boom, back on TV. Let me tighten up and do my notes.
Yeah, and then I got a little makeup thing here. I just kind of freshen up.
Oh, look at
Dude,
you.
you're Dean Kane, bro. This guy's Dean
Yep.
Kane.
Wow.
Freshen it up.
Why is he Dean
There you go.
Kane?
Huh?
I love
Why is
Dean
he
Kane. I
Dean
used to watch
Kane?
it.
It's
Don't
not.
you remember that?
I know he's Superman. He does
Superman
Hallmark
show.
movies
Yeah.
and Fox News. But
That's the name of Superman, right? Superman goes into the phone booth.
Yeah.
And then he changes, and boom, on the other side.
Kent.
That's Clark Kent, but yeah,
Bingo.
Superman.
It's Dean Kane.
played
It's
him.
Dean
You got
Kane.
it.
Yeah,
Dean
Ripley's,
Kane.
believe it or not,
Yes.
it is not Dean Kane. I'd never guessed that. You get it. You go into a phone booth, you turn on TV. Ian Rapoport's a completely different man. We appreciate you. Host of the weekly wrap up with Rap Sheet and Friends, us being the friends, him being Rap Sheet, Ian Rapoport. Thank you. Breaking news on the OBJ watch. Odell Beckham Jr. has signed with a team that none of us thought he was going to sign with. Was it Kansas City? No. Was it the New England Patriots? No. Was it the New Orleans Saints? No. Was it the Green Bay Packers, where it looked like he was going to go? It would make so much sense. Let's go on a run. You got Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback. Devontae Adams says he has high hopes that he's going to end up there. No.
God damn it.
Instead, in a wild turn of events, the team that has said we are going all in right now, with a GM that is actually quoted as saying, fuck them picks, dude. Has no first rounder for like the next 7 years or something. The Los Angeles Rams and Sean McVay have signed Odell Beckham Jr. to add to the arsenal of weapons that Matthew Stafford now has. Let's take a trip back in time. Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay, down in Cancun, at a resort together. Matthew Stafford is Zillowing in Indianapolis, in Carolina. And then Sean McVay says, nah, you're coming to LA. Sure. Cheers. Here's another shot of tequila. Margarita. Cerveza. They're doing their thing with the hats down in Mexico. All of a sudden, 3 first-rounders are sent to the Detroit Lions to get Matthew Stafford, one of them being Jared Goff and 2 other first-rounders. Now Matthew Stafford, who has an incredible weaponry. Cooper Kupp. Top 5 in the NFL right now, receiving yards, on pace to potentially break Calvin Johnson's record, will have to stay healthy. Deshaun Jackson moved on to the Raiders. What are they going to do? How are they going to continue to get better? They just traded for Von Miller on the defensive side. If you've ever seen a team go all in, this is what the Rams are doing. And now, if they can get 1, 2, maybe even 3 explosive plays a game while OBJ is healthy, this could potentially put the Rams over the top in riding to an NFC championship game. A lot of teams could have got OBJ, but inevitably in the end, OBJ, who has a sick house in Los Angeles and trains in the offseason in Los Angeles, ends up on a team filled with superstars, the LA Rams, as other fan bases have to be incredibly bummed. So sorry to interrupt, but if you have ever wanted to make your home feel safer, there is no better time than now. This week, our friends at Simply Safe are giving our listeners 40% off their award-winning home security. We love Simply Safe because it has everything you need to make your home safe. Indoor and outdoor cameras, comprehensive sensors. Say that a couple times fast. And also, they do have all these things. It's amazing, and it's all monitored around the clock by trained professionals who send help the instant you need it. We have Simply Safe in this office, and we all have them at our homes. It's very easy to set up. Very easy to set up. You can do it yourself. You don't need any, strangers going through your house, tracking mud, drilling holes. That ain't what Simply Safe is all about. Simply Safe is about taking home security to a much more modernized level. It's an app, it's cameras, it's sensors, it tracks movement. They have trained professionals watching along. You're good to go. You get alerts for anything that's potentially weird. It is literally the perfect home security system. And the 40% off is the biggest discount of the year. You can get a complete home security system starting at just over $100 for peace of mind. There are no long-term contracts or commitments. It's a really easy way to start feeling a bit more peace of mind. Take advantage of Simply Safe's holiday sale and get 40% off your new home security system by visiting simplysafe.com/McAfee. Again, that's simplysafe.com/MCAFEE for 40% off your entire system. Hurry, this offer ends soon, and with the holidays coming around and a lot of delivery stuff going on, Simply Safe protects you against those porch pirates too. It's the perfect time to get into the game at simplysafe.com/McAfee and get 40% off your entire system. That's crazy. Back to the show. Here in Indianapolis, I do fear that the sun has said goodbye for at least 6 or 7 months over here in Indiana. I don't know what it's like over there in Ohio for AJ Hawk, but I will say our building is currently swimming in it, AJ. Can you hear the waterfall happening on our ceiling right above our head right now?
Yeah, I could hear it a little bit earlier. So has it been raining for a while?
Yes.
I think so, yeah. During that, 34-second break, I took the ear things out, and I'm like, holy shit, is there a flood on our ceiling? The good thing about our studio is the roof actually has the piping to drain the water off of the roof. It goes through the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking at it right now.
It's right here. It's kind of tight, but boy, when that thing gets a rolling, it's like a crick in our ceiling.
Yeah.
And we will forge ahead.
You can see the tin roof, too, that's on the top that's rattling off.
Yeah, I'm excited to get to the new office, new studio.
But
that is loud.
But
the hint water's not making its way through, though.
Yeah,
the hint water will not see its way to the igloo.
Yeah,
it's called hint water?
Yeah, I just got a text from my wife, actually said, that flavored water, if it's called hint, I actually like that stuff.
Oh. Okay.
Look, Zeke's doing something nice.
Yeah, but we're not going to take it, by the way. Whoever purchased that needs to take that to whoever purchased that, because we've already made one mistake. Let's not make two. But it sounds like I'm also putting in an order for hint water. So whoever did this, thank you to everybody. Because we just learned of a new bag company and a new water company now. And hey, anything for my beautiful bride.
Oh, yeah.
Let's move to some sports talk here, shall we? We'll have Shams Charania joining us in about 5 minutes. We'll ask him, hey, what's going on in the NBA? The Jokic brothers fighting the Morris brothers potentially. What's going on with Benjamin Simmons, who he's been on top of since the beginning of this entire thing? The Celtics allegedly got a deal offered, then back. I heard Stephen A. say this morning that the Golden State Warriors are definitely going to win the ship this morning.
Wow.
I didn't know that with the way the Brooklyn Nets are constructed and the Lakers with LeBron coaching. And there's a whole new style of play happening this year, AJ. International rules have been adopted to basketball, so there's no more ticky-tack, get them to jump, force a foul, shoot 33 free throws a night. It's a whole new state of basketball. Can't wait to talk to Shams about it. We'll do that shortly. There is football news for us to actually talk about. David Bakhtiari, allegedly all the way back. AJ, you're friends with Takatari. You're friends with Carl Takatari. What are your thoughts on this? Has this been something that they've known it was going to be this week? Are they playing it slow and everything like that because Aaron wasn't in last week? What are your thoughts on Bakhtiari getting back? This is a massive ordeal. This is one of the highest paid left tackles in all of NFL because this is one of the best left tackles in all of NFL for an offense that has been going whenever Aaron's in there.
I mean, I don't know what his status may be. He's been practicing for 2 weeks now? Is that right?
Yeah.
Probably 2 weeks. They need him, but I don't feel like they're in any rush. Like if they don't feel 100% about where his knee is at and what he's doing, I don't know why they would rush him back.
I don't know.
I'm sure he wants to be back bad, but I don't know when that is. If it's this week, next week, the week after, who cares?
Do we have a microphone on the roof right now?
I think
that
so.
one on?
Yeah.
Is that one on over there?
It's muted.
It does sound. Is that all coming from your mic?
I don't know if it's from mine. I don't know who's
all
it.
of them.
I think it's all of them in here. It is so loud.
Tilt it up. See if it gets louder when you tilt that thing straight up.
Well, when I stop talking, you know what I mean? It's going to get louder. But Bakhtiari coming back is great for Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, who I think are out of the Odell Beckham Jr. sweepstakes.
Might be.
I think that's what it sounds like.
It does kind of sound like it, and I feel like Schulte led me astray once again because I thought that Odell wanted to go to the Packers. It was his number one destination. Turns out that was horseshit if he was looking to stay there for a couple of years. So I really don't know what to think.
That might have been his initial feeling. He initially might have wanted to make the decision, let's go to Green Bay. And then maybe he had another thought, or people around him had a conversation were like, hey, this is your first time ever being a free agent. This is the first time you'll ever get to just choose where you want to go, what you want to do. Let's slow down. Let's not just make the initial gut response to go to Green Bay. Let's think this whole thing through. And now there's 5 offers, Ian Rapoport said, out to Odell Beckham Jr. We have no idea where he's going to go. Allegedly, he would like to be able to stick around for the long haul, even though he expects the deal to be for the rest of the season. But there wasn't a single time when Rapoport said, like, let's say Packers, for instance. He said for Chiefs, for instance, he said that Bill Belichick is very much in on this thing. The Seahawks, I didn't hear much chatter out of that. I'm not 100% sure. But it feels like the Packers are somehow out when we thought the Packers were somehow all the way in.
Well, yeah, I mean, if he really does want to potentially be there for longer than this year, like, there's no way the Packers are going to do that. They still have to figure out what they're going to do with Devontae. Like, in no world do they bring Odell in and you know, like, guarantee that he's going to be there longer than this year. I mean, because financially that'll just never work.
All right, let's continue to move on here. Who knows what's going to happen with OBJ? Probably won't know a decision until Monday, we're hearing now, because he's going to watch all the games on Sunday and see what's the best fit for him. And for that, we say, hey, good on you.
Good on you.
Hey, good on you.
Smart good on you.
Hey, good work, OBS, getting OBJ into this situation and position, and good work for OBJ sitting back and realizing that there's a much bigger picture. This is a life-changing decision. It should be treated as such. Let's go ahead and, you know, maybe play 16 games this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just sit out a week. It's all good. Because the 17-game season is now being talked about because Tom Brady on his Let's Go podcast with Jim Gray and Larry Fitzgerald on SiriusXM.
Yep.
This does not get as much play as I would have thought.
Next to none.
Not at all.
Well, can you get it anywhere other than Sirius? Like, do they put it out on iTunes or anything?
They release a podcast, yes.
Zito just told me they do release a podcast, yes, and I think his mic was actually open when he said that into my ear, so you actually heard him. And that is what I get in my ear, by the way. It is awesome.
I actually didn't hear him.
Oh, okay. Well, everybody else kind of did. It might have been just the studio in here. Great work.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
But they do release it as a podcast as well. I think he had a State of the Union almost, where he brought in a bunch of people from the press to ask, a town hall, he called it, I guess, an entire Q&A session with everybody about everything. He said a lot of good things throughout the season thus far on this Let's Go podcast. Not getting as much play as I had expected. I'm going to be honest. Whenever I heard he was doing this, I was very excited because I thought it would be like big-time news breakers. Yeah. Listening to the greatest of all time chit-chat about the league while playing in the league has been fantastic, but not as much ripple effects to the sports media world as I had expected, to be honest. But this is a big one because Tom Brady's speaking about something that AJ, myself, and many other players have talked about. Not the first paragraph, not the second one, the last one. We'll get through the first two as well. I think it's pointless. I thought it was a terrible decision. So I don't like the fact that we're playing a 17th game at all. I think 16 is plenty. You're 8 games into the year and you're not halfway through, so that's kind of a little frustration aspect. Whatever, we'll play it. It's there. A lot of guys probably miss games over the course of the season anyway, so they probably don't play all 16, most guys. But if you're fortunate to be able to make it through a season and then you got to play the 17th game, I think there are a lot of things that I would adjust to the offseason, the regular season schedule. A lot of people know my feelings on some of these topics. I've been pretty vocal about NFL issues over the last couple years, and some of the things that are done that I don't necessarily think are in the best interest of the game. Remember, he came out talking about the rule changes for the defensive side of the ball. It's making the game worse. The number changes. Now he's openly speaking about the 17-game season. Then he would go on to take an even bigger shot and say our union hasn't proven that it's strong enough to withstand the pressure from NFL owners. I would love to see a stronger union so that we can negotiate something that's more fair and what's really right for the owners, for the coaches, and the players. All three groups need different things. If you're going to ask more, then you better provide more. That hasn't been the way negotiations have gone. And Tom Brady is echoing the sentiments of basically any person that played in the NFL longer than 5 years, basically.
Yeah. That's the first thing I thought of. He speaks for like all vets, really.
Yeah, everybody. Me, you, any other human basically that's been around the NFL and seen things and been like, how has this happened? But then obviously Tom Brady, if he speaks about it, or AJ who got $60 million when he signed his name as the fifth overall pick, or if anybody else speaks about it, it's like, well, you can't relate to everybody else in the NFL, the bottom half of the roster. And it's like, I understand that there are vastly different lives in the NFL between the starting quarterback and the stars and everybody else. I have the utmost respect and appreciation for everybody else, but also the league is run by the names of the people that are around longer. They probably know the NFL much better than everybody else. They know what succeeds, what doesn't succeed, what should happen, what shouldn't happen. And all of a sudden in the media, that gets downplayed because, oh, you're going against the bottom half of the roster, and around we go with 50.1% approval on something and 49.9% against it. And I think what Tom Brady's trying to say is that if our union was like the basketball union, where all the big time players were actually at the table, it would maybe be a little bit different, and hopefully we'll get to the point of that. But in the current case, that is not the situation at all. It's so much bullshit. It's so much work. It's a bunch of politicking that ends up doing nothing. Bad deals are made. You really don't utilize any of your leverage, and it's a waste of time. That's why you never ever see the top end players really in the NFL Players Association representing for the NFLPA.
They're representing too many players too, and not to defend the NFLPA, but basketball, their union, they don't have nearly as many players in the league that they're trying to speak for, they're trying to represent. We know basketball is run by the stars. That's who runs the whole league, who carries all the ratings, everything, and there's 10 of those people. So I think our next guest will have a great outlook on this, probably.
Well, but those 10 people are all involved in the business with the NBA.
That's what I'm saying. They can all get together like, hey, we can actually make some change. Us. Like the NFL, I feel like it feels a lot tougher to actually make change.
I think there is about 5 to 10 guys that could potentially, though.
You got to sit out. You got to threaten to sit. You got to threaten to actually miss games, not miss an off season. You got to threaten to miss games.
I don't even think that's the case. I mean, you could utilize that as leverage, but I think if the power players of the NFL go to the NFL and say, hey, let's figure this out. Like Tom Brady's a businessman, right? We all know he's a businessman. Yep. We all know Aaron's a businessman. Patrick Mahomes is a businessman. All these people that are our top-end stars are all business people. And whenever they say, if you're going to ask for more, well, you better give more, that is how negotiations should go. Like, hey, you guys want this game? This is what we need then. I think it means a lot more coming from the players as opposed to people that are representing them. And I'm only saying that because I have potentially started taking over all my own negotiations as opposed to other people speaking. And things seem to go a lot differently when it comes directly from the horse's mouth, whether it's a misunderstanding coming from one thing whenever you're playing a game of telephone, or like, hey, this is why we want it, this is why we want it. But that is a massive conversation that's going to have to shape a lot of different things, especially if 18 games around the corner. Speaking to your point, though, about the basketball players, joining us now is a man who has his ear to the ground in all things happening in the NBA. He's an insider for the Stadium and the Athletic. The last time he came on this show, he broke the news that there wasn't a cell phone in his pocket.
No.
Joining us now with what I assume will be an incredibly fresh fade and facial hair setup with a silver triangle behind him with 2 different camera angles. Ladies and gentlemen, senior NBA insider, Sham Sharon.
Appreciate you guys as always. And Pat, I got to hire you as my agent. You said you were doing your stuff one-to-one. I might have to take the same strategy, actually. So I don't know if my rep is listening, but I might have to take your advice on that.
Hey, it seems like you're doing well, but it changes a lot of things. It honestly has. In my life, it has changed a lot of things because something that I'm maybe like, well, what the fuck is that? I'm actually hearing exactly why, as opposed to through somebody that might deliver it in a different tone or tense or something like that. That's an entire conversation for another day, but let's talk about the basketball players. And if you do represent yourself, I think you'll do well. You're one of the most consistent people I've ever seen. Your hair looks the exact same. Your beard looks the exact same. The backdrop looks the exact same. And you're always on top of it. That is a good business person. I would assume they know what they're going to get.
No question, 100%. I got to stay on top of it. This is what I do, so I'm here. What do we want to talk about today, Pat?
Okay.
Let me know.
All right. So the big news, obviously, what's going on with Ben Simmons, the Sixers, and the Celtics potential trade. You broke that news. Can't wait to hear about it. But I want to know: are the Morris brothers fighting the Jokic brothers, and how is that going to pan out? Jokic, reigning MVP, in the middle of some real drama right now, getting suspended a game, over $100,000 fine. Jimmy Butler's getting a $30,000 fine. Morris is getting a $50,000 fine. This is a big deal. All of a sudden, the NBA is becoming WWE. What do you think? Is this going to cooler heads prevail, or is it going to be an actual lead to something?
Pat, this will blow over. I mean, that's how these altercations work in the NBA. Unless these guys really want to duke it out. You know, the interesting part is that I want to see if the NBA, if there was a way for them to suspend Nikola Jokic for the next time the Heat and Denver Nuggets play. I think that would probably be the fair approach. I spoke to someone in Denver yesterday, a Nuggets official, and he told me that he recommended to the league to let Nikola Jokic sit the next time these two teams play, because, Pat, that is when we will see whether cooler heads prevail. I can't wait to watch that game the next time these two teams play, because Nikola Jokic, you know his brothers are going to be there. I'm told his brothers bought tickets to the game in Miami here in a few weeks. Denver, Heat, they bought tickets. They want to be there, and if there's going to be any action, it's going to be there. The league could have found a way to get out of that if they had suspended Nikola Jokic for that game. Obviously, that isn't how the league handles these issues. But, yeah, I'm waiting to see when these two teams play in a few weeks. That is when we will know if this issue is resolved or not.
Awesome. The Jokic brothers are all tatted.
Oh, yeah.
And the Morris brothers said, we're about it, too. That could be awesome. I'm surprised Triller or Showtime isn't trying to get in on it. Go ahead, AJ.
They probably will soon with Frank Gore fighting. But, Shams, I got two quick questions. How many players are the Lakers going to have in street clothes taking up prime real estate on their bench moving forward? And is Golden State going to win it all?
Man, so to answer your first question, yeah, they're super beat up right now. I do think LeBron James will be back sooner than later. I reported last week he's going to miss at least 1 to 2 weeks. So the optimistic part of it is he might be back next week, right? So that is the optimistic part. But yeah, they have Taylor Horton-Tucker, Trevor Ariza, the rookie Austin Reeves. A lot of Lakers fans think he's the next Alex Caruso. So he's out now in the lineup. So they're super banged up, super beat up. Rajon Rondo's out. They've got a lot of injuries that they got to deal with. So that's what makes it tough to really judge this team. But I would expect Taylor Horton-Tucker's making progress. Ariza's making progress. So they should be getting some of these guys back in the lineup. But right now they are the walking wounded. It's tough to judge this team. And as for Klay Thompson, some good news. Sources tell me he is expected to get cleared for full practice in the next few weeks. And so once that happens, that starts the process for him to possibly return. You know, I've heard anywhere from that Christmas Day range to January 1st, New Year's. So if they can get him back in the lineup, what are they, 9-1? Usually you have Gary Payton, the second, dunking everything in sight. This team is looking legit. Andre Iguodala, I think, has even made mention, even Draymond Green has made mention that this team reminds them of that 2015 team where they came out of nowhere and they ended up being a championship caliber team. I do think this team has signs, with Stephen Curry, to me, being one of the MVP leaders along with Jimmy Butler and Kevin Durant and some other guys.
Yeah, and Steph's back, right, to just being this guy, where it's just falling, where the hoop's bigger
He's just
for
an
him.
assassin right now. He's just an assassin right now. He's making everything. I mean, these 40, 50-point games are coming so easy. And it's interesting. When Kevin Durant left that team, I think there was a lot of question about Stephen Curry and how great he really is, right? I think there was some criticism. That year he breaks, I believe, his wrist. He misses basically the entire season. And there were questions and doubts about whether Stephen Curry was that dude. Well, I think he's proven these last few years he is that dude.
Holy moly's a hit, too.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Chef Curry's always cooking on the court and off the court. Last question for me before we get it to the boys who know a lot more about the NBA than I do. And thank you for keeping us informed. They're changing the style of play, right? So international rules are much more similar to the rules now than what it was last year or the years before, when James Harden, made a living and a killing off of a pump fake jump, go in, make the shot. I'll get 20 free throws a game. I'll be able to control and create my own foul. And that's what basketball became. And, there was people taking shots at Space Jam earlier today saying that's why LeBron ain't playing. By the way, it's because the rules are now international rules, which I think will help Bron. But is this what the game is going to be going forward? And what is the reaction to it? I think as fans, everybody loves it. I assume it's not that well received in the locker rooms, though.
Pat, the fans love it. I think the audience loves it. Even people in the league office love it. When you're on these competition committee calls, there's something called the competition committee of the NBA. And that's the group that pushes for these rule changes, to push for these rule changes on non-basketball moves, to push for the under 2 minutes timeout. Pat, if you're watching NBA hoops nowadays, they don't even review plays usually at the end of games anymore. Like, there used to be 30, 45-minute stoppages at the end of games because they're just constantly going to review. And so I think you add all those factors, and I think the league believes this is clean. But when you talk to players, and I've spoken to some NBA owners too, and they believe that the NBA is trying to revert this game back to the 1990s style. And so that will take a lot of adjusting. That will take a lot of guys being comfortable with that approach where physicality is now being in the players and some of these owners' minds. It's being touted as an approach. Again, the league says, and on their competition committee call, they claim that there's no evidence to prove that. There's not, like, that isn't part of the intent, but that is what players and owners do feel, that the game is becoming more and more physical. But when you look at a guy like James Harden, I do have to note, Pat, people around him believe that it's more his physical condition, him having to get in shape. He hasn't played 5-on-5 all summer. Anyone that knows James Harden knows that he gets in shape in the offseason playing 5-on-5. He wasn't able to play 5-on-5 this past offseason. Now he's able to finally get some of that 5-on-5 in, but it's coming in regular season play. So the hope is once he's fully integrated physically and mentally, that he'll be good to go. Despite any of these rule changes.
James Harden, little baby, still over Fashion Week. Maybe get a game in every once in a while. Go wee in the streets of Paris, maybe. That would be awesome. Is this because of ratings? Is that why they changed this? Is this because of ratings? Is that why the entire rule changes?
I think it was more for the fact that the game just was looking like it wasn't truly basketball. I mean, if you watch some of these calls that, James Harden, Trae Young, Luka Doncic, that they were drawing, they were not real basketball plays. I mean, they're just flailing and drawing contact. And I think the league believed that they needed to get back to what it was before
this
and
ain't
get back to
fucking
real basketball.
That's right. And then all of a sudden when the Olympics happen and the world watches our team not too great early, they just got out of a season. I mean, there's a lot going on. They inevitably end up winning and getting hot, in which I think we all kind of knew, even though there was a couple players that weren't invited that made no sense in whatever. But while we were watching that, watching the USA team, who are the best basketball players on earth, adjust to the international rules, it just looked like a completely different game. And then you saw the internet be like, oh, this is what it should be. Some people hate it. The NBA watched that and was like, yep, that's what we're fucking doing from now on. We're going to do it. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Shams, Pat mentioned Benny Simmons and the Sixers calling the Celtics. Is that how most of the negotiations are going and teams aren't really listening because they're asking for too much? And is Ben Simmons eventually just going to end up playing for the Sixers this year?
So the first part of your question, there's no doubt. I mean, Daryl Morey, when he goes and wants players on other teams like Jaylen Brown and Damian Lillard and Bradley Beal, like those are the types of players that Daryl Morey and Philadelphia have prioritized to go get a guy like Ben Simmons. So yes, the 76ers did inquire, did engage. The Celtics did engage the Sixers on Ben Simmons and have conversations, but those conversations weren't something that the Celtics wanted to acquiesce to. I mean, when it comes to Jaylen Brown, they didn't want to move Jaylen Brown for Ben Simmons. So unless Philadelphia gets more realistic, they're not going to get what they want out of this possible scenario. And as of right now, I'm told Ben Simmons is not mentally ready to play. Even if he was traded tomorrow, I'm told he wouldn't just suit up and play. He needs to get right mentally. He's getting mental help, and he's getting help with Philadelphia doctors, with his own doctors, to try to figure out a way to get back on the floor. Listen, if Philadelphia feels like he's not being accurate, they just have to call him out on it, because right now he is telling them that I'm not mentally ready to play.
And you don't see this ending anytime soon? And did Brad Stevens literally listen to that and just go, okay, yeah, we ain't going to do that? Is that what happened? Is that how quickly that thing ended?
Well, when it came to Philadelphia being hard charged on getting Jaylen Brown in any scenario, yeah, I think it ended up being like, we're not listening. But the call started with an engagement from Boston in trying to figure out a package. But again, there's really not a deal construct, Marcus Smart, guys like that. But that's not going to fulfill what Philadelphia is looking for and what they want. And Ben Simmons, I don't see any resolution coming on the horizon. He is claiming he is not mentally ready to play. And at the end of the day, is there a doctor that can say that he is mentally ready? How can someone go into someone's mind and say you're mentally ready? It's tough to do that.
Well, listen, there's a lot of docs. I mean, hold on. I've met a lot of docs on the internet these last few days, obviously, so somebody will be able to make it happen. But I love the fact that Brad Stevens picked it up. Hello? Jaylen Brown. Can the guy shoot yet? We don't know. He's not. Okay. Fuck off.
I love how you have an actual phone there, but that is an accurate. Yeah, that's accurate.
Okay, dope. Go ahead, Diggs.
Shams, Pelicans have the worst record in the league, and they stink. Is there a scenario where Zion just doesn't come back and play for that team this year? Because why the fuck would he?
Oh, they getting shit.
Yeah, I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that that's even a possibility. But look at the signs. He's not, to my knowledge, he's not close to really taking the floor. And so if he's not really close to playing, they keep pushing back the timeline. At first it was opening night, and then it was a month away, and then it was 2 to 3 weeks away. And so now you're putting yourself in a position where it's into December. He's already missed about a month and a half of the season. What is the point then to bring him back if they are not anywhere close? I mean, right now they're 1-10, I believe, 1-11. That's not good enough for Zion Williamson to really be putting himself.
Is this
under
Pelicans'
stress.
decision or Zion's team's decision? Because remember, going all the way back to his rookie year, it was the Pelicans who said, "What is it? What is it?
What's going on? What do we got?
Yeah, I mean,
What are you looking at?
No, we just saw you look at your other camera. Anything happen?
Just reading text messages.
Anything big? Anything big?
Nothing big right now, but I'll let you know.
Okay, I doubt it. You shouldn't, by the way. You work at 2 other places. You should probably break it there. We'll react to it next week, maybe. But is this because the Pelicans wanted to limit Zion's minutes, and then Zion's people allegedly were potentially upset about? Is this Zion's people deciding that he's not ready to play yet? Is it the Pelicans? And how long does this continue to go on year after year? Is this going to just go forever until they figure it out?
Yeah, I believe it's both doctors. It's the doctors on Zion Williamson's side. It's the doctors on the Pelicans side. Because not only I'm told the bone isn't fully healing yet, listen, he needs to get in the proper game shape as well to be able to play. We've seen video that's come out. Like the Pelicans have put an emphasis on him coming back in game shape, and he just is not there yet.
Go ahead, Ty.
Shams, I remember reading, I don't know if you reported it or if someone else did, but the Pelicans want Zion to lose 100 to 150 pounds before he suits up. Is there any truth to that or not?
That was not my reporting.
Are you sure? Did you? Because, I mean, it is insane to think that guy
Came out of nowhere.
One of the most electrifying players the internet has ever seen, basketball has ever seen. He's explosive. He's incredible. Is this the Chicago Bulls Center going into the COVID protocol? Is that what you're looking at right now?
I'm reading it. I'm actually working here to get more information on this, hopefully, here soon.
What do you do? You send text with your brain?
Are you talking to his
I
agent?
wish I could.
Is your agent texting? Is the agent texting you or somebody in the Bulls facility texting you? How are you trying to get more information while giving us answers? Are you that talented?
Hey man, I'm trying to get more.
You just checked into the wrong one.
Gotta switch to camera 2.
We're losing you on service, but we can't thank you enough for joining us. We appreciate the hell out of you. Ladies and gentlemen, Shams Charania. Can't thank you enough for allowing us to penetrate your ear holes. The fact you allow us to be a part of your day-to-day, I am eternally grateful for. No risk-free same-game parlay for tonight. I'm going to enjoy the game alongside everybody else, and I can't wait for a feel-good Friday mañana. Maybe a big giveaway as well. We should see. Ty, please play some independent music and propel these people into a beautiful Thursday night. I can't wait to chit-chat mañana. And then Norfolk, Virginia for SmackDown. Then a big college football weekend. Then week 10, NFL Sunday is right around the corner. Let's fucking go. Cheers.